Ba-doop-a-doo. Ow. I heard it everywhere. I know. Probably sleeping.
It's loud.
When you eat too much at the buffet,
Who's gonna fix it?
Tummy in a lump. You have to go and take a great big
Oh yeah.
dump.
The best part is I got to listen to this afterwards to hear what you guys said.
Scotty's got a little bean.
Hey, I told you that in confidence. Awkward.
Okay, I got to get my team on this to edit.
Yeah, your team. You're so more advanced than me. Yes, you have a team. Get them to work on this. I need like
assemble.
maybe like a countdown, pre-countdown, and then an intro.
And then they count down to the intro.
You know, like a couple minute countdown like all the other cool cats have, unlike me. Okay, welcome everybody to it's Saturday and it's the dump.
Wow.
And I'm Scott and
Holy cow, look at that sexy chest.
Woo!
Man.
Oh my god, dude! Could you have more chest hair?
Did you just get out of the shower or you
Ladies?
that's some long hair everywhere.
He's making me question my sexuality and confusing my genitals, kids.
It is no longer small, Tom.
It is no longer small.
It's not the first weed boner I've had over Nick, so it won't be the last.
May not be less. More and more I want to listen to Motorhead. Hey, what's up, everybody? So, welcome to the dump. We are live. We are having in my area, in the northeast of America, we're having blizzard-like. Well,
Where's
it wasn't
the
blizzard.
H? I didn't know there was an H.
America? Yeah, I want to be
want
in
to live in
America. Don't you want to be in America?
You shouldn't
Right?
be chewing gum on the air.
I got like
Yeah, you're not very professional.
All right.
That works better.
No, that works. So we are
Well, that
live.
answers the age-old question: does Scott spit or swallow?
I am not a good girl. So
Oh my god! And we're only a minute
We're
in of
already
the
off.
episode.
Yeah.
So
So, thanks for watching.
we're fucked.
I am no longer green. It is yellow. Goodbye advertisements. So we're having,
Oh no!
yeah, bye. We're having advertisement. Oh my god, we're having a blizzard here. I've been outside for like 6 hours. My back hurts. My chest hurts. My leg hurts. My shoulder hurts, and occasionally it flickers. So if I disappear, you'll have the next person up, which is Culture Casino. How are you, Culture?
I'm fantastic. I've got hair growing. Someday it'll be long enough for me to not care that it's not quite as. I'm missing my hair, but it's okay. Another month, ain't gonna matter.
It's kind of like what's the youngest Brady daughter? Not Marcia, not Jan.
Sally?
It's the youngest one in curls.
Yeah, Sally.
Yes. No, it's not Sally. That's all- That's all we remember.
Cindy.
Marcia.
Cindy.
You
Oh,
all fail.
Cindy. God, I feel terrible about my life.
Cindy of the Thale on Thief Elf.
Yes. Poor girl had to work out her lisp on growing up on camera.
I know, it's messed up.
It is messed up.
Right here. But anyway, no, I'm excited for the blizzard because then I get to take over your channel.
Yeah, man. We had it's crazy. A lot of snow. Like a lot of snow. Like in some areas it's only like 1.5 feet. Others it was like up to my waist. It was a lot of fun. I every once in a while you got to have one when you live out this way. Mr. Grant Gregory, do you live where there's snow?
Absolutely not. No, we have bushfires, rain, drought, flooding, fires, bad politicians, fires, and bad politicians. So
Drop bears.
Politicians might have snow.
You're like
they do. They've been known to do a few lines of snow allegedly. I'm not a drug dealer. I can't say for sure.
You're like Canada South, bro. Canada South.
Yeah, I have no idea if that's an insult or a compliment, so I'll take it both.
Is it pure snow?
Oh man.
You know the street value of this mountain?
Columbia.
What movie? What movie?
Better off dead, my friend.
Yes, sir. Right. Yes, sir.
I can't feel my brain.
$2. I want my $2.
God, I love that movie. We have 32 flavors of Tom. I mean, hi, Tom.
Tom, you know, Tom, remind me to send you your fixed avatar for your hands.
Send me my fixed avatar. I got the world's coolest shirt right now.
You do, bro. I love it so much.
Nightmare.
Metal Max 3.
It's great.
Tom.
Tell me this. The 80s, where you could have a show for kids and families about a cat-eating alien that lives in your house. Like, what was better?
Of course, the world's best pussy eater would be from out of this world.
Oh,
and he's not wrong. But that show was so great, man. Plus, the dad was so good. Oh, my God.
The ending, that last episode wrecked me as a kid. Until they brought that movie
I don't even remember.
later. I was just like, oh, my God, the government got him.
Okay, I was going to say.
Wait a minute, there was a movie?
Yeah, TV movie that finished up the story.
Okay, because I always loved Alf, but I don't remember. I just kind of don't remember. Yeah. It all blends together.
One of the best members I have in my chat is Horny Alf. I don't know if you've ever seen him. He's yoked.
I would like Horny Alf. Yeah. Well, let's finish the introductions. We got Nick Weiser here. The 32 flavors of
Nick Weiser's
apparently he needs buttons. I'm gonna send him some buttons. Oh man!
Oh no, you won't go to casino.
There you go.
Your shirt like that, and there's nothing you can do about it. Oh, yeah.
There we go. Way to enter the building, looking like looking like you just walked in off of a 70s movie, but whatever.
Okay. Doesn't he look like every guy in a 70s movie or in a movie made in
Absolutely.
the 80s?
He does. Or any 70s porno. I mean, seriously, let's be honest. I mean,
brown chicken, brown.
He looks like every stoner or the first guy that Dirty Harry shoots in every movie.
Every movie.
Every movie.
That's a compliment.
Like the one guy who doesn't know him in town, you know?
Who's this guy? Well, that's Nick Weiser.
To know, man. That's to know.
Yeah, he's the coolest, flyest cat in old town.
He is.
Oh, yeah.
He drives a black T-top Camaro.
Nick Weiser?
With the Firebird symbol on top.
Which
your
confuses
everyone.
Shut your mouth.
Well, I don't know why, but I just had the sharp things on my head.
I did too. That's why I was like, Nick Weiser. Darius Münchausen for $1.49. Popcorn, my friend. Popcorn, because it is time to get going.
Quiz, hot shot.
So let's see who's in the chat real quick. We got Parrot Head. We got Eric K. Tina Bojan. We got a channel member saying, what's up? We got Michail Woolf. I skipped Yeti because Yeti's not that important.
Yeti's in the house.
There's Yeti.
Yeti's in the
Hey,
house.
you know, did he ask you who he had to blow to get on this show?
He sent me something. Everybody always sends me something. Like
the answer is me.
Well,
it's always the answer is always Tom.
Anytime Gary's on, you know that people come out of the woodwork, and that's fine because I kind of am like, oh, you got Gary on? What's going on, man? I haven't talked to you in 6 months.
But Yeti's always here, bro. Yeti's always here.
You know what, Yeti? I will.
He's not a
I'll boot Mad next time and have you on the Gary show.
Yeti's good people.
You have to break it to him though. I mean, he's not here right now. He's probably sleeping.
Gary Shandling show.
Toxic Man Flu says, "Duh, culture." God,
I know.
Yep, I have no energy. I'm so sorry, people. Keep calling. You guys talk among yourselves.
Energy? What do you mean? This is the best show start we've ever had in my lifetime. I mean, plus, Nick Weiser really does look like he will kill everybody in the room.
Yes.
Right after he screws all of them.
Yes.
Yeah. First things first. There are priorities, right? You got to check those
you've
boxes.
You've got to do it in the right order. I found that out from a judge once.
F it and then kill it, right? That's what it is.
That's pretty much it. Brutal Morningwood, what's up? All right, so let's talk. Chris, how are you? Thank you for being here. I got to move from New England. It's bloody cold right now. It is.
I live in the New England in Australia, but we don't get snow.
Jane.
What?
Jane.
Jane's up? Where's Jane?
She's
you want to come on, Jane? You can come on.
We could add that Jane is in the chat.
We could add feminine energy.
I can use as many people right now as possible so I don't have to talk.
Whoa. You want to use people?
You can act like a man.
I should have always known those like that, Scott. I guess
Kinda.
I'll have to fly over there.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Wow.
You know what, Culture? Why don't you bring up the Masters of the Universe one and read it out? I feel better about you reading today than me.
Okay. I'll
I asked to be during our other streams. You too. All right, man.
What?
I promise you'll be on one of my next streams.
Yeah, I like YetiCast. He's one of my editors. So
He's one of my editors too. And actually, I got a video coming out during this stream that will be out. And it's
I
great.
need an editor. I need to edit all these bumbling boobs out of my life.
thank you very much, Skeletor.
Hey, Makani wants in. Get Makani.
Oh shit! I did tell
You know what
Makani
it's
last
like to
week
have to
he could
deal
come
with
on.
Why no Makani?
No, we need Makani. Makani
We
hasn't
need
been on in a
Makani.
while.
That's what I just said. Why didn't you?
No, we need him.
That's what I
Oh,
just.
he needs him.
Okay. Well, they're invited now. All right, you guys start talking. I'm gonna hide.
I will talk. Okay. From Deadline, Masters of the Universe live action Mattel movie heads to Netflix after being in development at Sony. Weird.
This is old news, actually.
I know. Yeah, I know, Tom, but it's a story.
I know, but they're all
you-
acting like it's new news.
They don't have to know that, though.
I'm pretty sure you guys talked about it before, didn't you?
We
Hey,
told
speak
everybody like a year
louder.
ago.
Hey, speak louder, you sons of bitches.
Kyle Allen, who is definitely not a size of He-Man, is going to play He-Man.
So is he like Adam or is he
It's
He-Man?
He-Man.
I think he's more like, he looks kind of Adam-y.
The sword is so heavy.
Oh, real quick, Jane, we have room. Makani and Jane, come on.
Come on.
I think
in.
I broke a nail trying to call on the power of Grayskull.
Come on in and
Oh my
dig
God.
up your skin and waddle around in your bones.
I guess he was in West Side Story.
What?
Hey, I was in West Side Story, and so was.
Where's the
Polly.
video?
I'm working on it, dude. I'm gonna go back to mom and say you got to find this because I'm getting harangued.
Wait a minute. Did I miss something one time? You're in
Yes.
West Side Stories?
Way back in the day, 1,412 years ago.
Like the original one?
When he was just a
No.
little man.
No, actually. I was wearing some tight. You can see just how much of a man I was back then.
You could tell what religion
Were you-
he was.
Yeah, you can. That's also true. Wow, dude, let me tell you. Hey,
So,
Jane.
hi, Jane.
Hello.
How
can't
are
hear me.
you?
Hi.
Good. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah,
crap. Now I
wait,
gotta
she has to say
behave.
the line. She has to say the line. Make her say the line.
She said it. She said hello. Oh, no, I don't force her to do that unless she wants to.
Say the ting. Do the
Hey
ting.
guys.
Oh my God, I feel so bad for you, Jane. Like, why do you guys? I mean, I know it's your thing, but they make it awkward. Okay, if she wants to come in and say, "Hey guys," she could come into the dump and say, "Hey guys, this is a free country." And were you? I want to say, wait a minute, you were in West Side Stories culture. Were you like? That's inappropriate.
No, on stage.
You are
On stage.
uber white.
No, I played Riff.
Oh, he's white.
That's yeah. Come on now. Okay, here we go. This is the story.
Toxic human flu.
Toxic He-Man flu is great.
Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Mattel's live-action Masters of the Universe film, based on the iconic 1980s muscular action figure toy line, is determined to live on. After being in development at Sony for quite some years, the feature project is now moving over to Netflix for a summer start. There was buzz about this some time ago, but Sony would not confirm then. That rumor now is a reality. Sony, meanwhile, will keep rights to the film in China.
China.
Don't trust China.
That's right.
China asshole.
Yeah. Don't trust China. China is asshole. Okay, sorry. Adam.
Today on to the show, kids, we learned that China is a bunch of assholes.
It
Till
came
next
from
time.
China. China.
Dude, whoever does those cartoons with He-Man and Skeletor on Twitter, they kill me every time. Anyway, I gotta keep
In today's episode, we learned it's important to protect yourself. That's right. Wrap your dick if you don't want to get sick, kids. Till next time.
Absolutely.
Oh, next week.
This is all right. It's gonna be one of these dumps. I'm feeling it now. Let's do this.
This so far is a massive dump as far as the show goes. I'm sorry. What'd you say, Nick? You're a little muted. You're a little low. A little low.
Am I? Maybe
You're
I
a little
should kick
low.
myself out and get
No.
high.
No.
Yes, do it on stream, man.
No.
No.
Illegal.
Hi, my name is Scott. Hi, Scott.
All right, here we go.
Oh my God.
Wow, that was sad because the only person that said hi, Scott, was himself. That is a sad moment. in life.
That wasn't me.
I swear I said hi.
Thank you. I heard you. I heard you.
It wasn't me. But I'm going to keep reading now.
Keep reading.
Adam and Aaron Nee, The Lost City, remain attached to direct, and with a screenplay they wrote with David Callahan, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Wonder Woman 1984.
Time out.
What?
Do you want to be David Callahan and like admit you wrote Shang-Chi and Wonder Woman
better
84?
than that, yeah.
No,
He's
no,
on a roll.
no.
Holy shit.
Kyle Allen, who plays one of the Jets. See, the Jets were white. In Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, will star as Prince Adam and He-Man.
So were they white like Peacemaker's dad, or were they just like white?
Kind of like white like me, which means that like I'm like the Heinz 57 of genealogy.
Okay.
So it's like, you know,
yeah.
I'm wait, what's the fancy super leftist term for that? Oh, I'm white presenting.
What?
White presenting.
Well, I think
Not-
back then they were considered
Where the
ethnic white.
Fuck do they come up
Ethnic
with
white.
this shit?
Is that Italian?
Yeah, like Italian.
Yeah,
Irish.
because I know when I was younger, I remember I went to a Congregationalist church, so those are very waspy people. And because my dad married outside of the culture, I guess, and it was the reverse the same way. Like my mom, she was the first one to marry anybody who wasn't Italian, so it was a big deal. But anyways, in the 80s, like I remember kids like would bring their cousins to church like around Christmas, and like they would try to, like one kid, I swear on everything holy, one kid leaned into his cousin and goes, "Is that a black boy?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because I have a little darker, like I was darker as a younger kid, but I'm like, "Are you serious?" But a lot of kids always thought I was Spanish, and like they just didn't know how to act. So I understand we have come way farther than that. And this idea of I don't know, like this idea, like I was just watching Peacemaker and we have to have like the racist dad. We have to fix Peacemaker. Like, but was he always racist in the book? Like, I don't know this. Makini, do you know?
What, Peacemaker?
Yeah, was he a racist in the book, in the comics?
I never heard of that character up until the Suicide Squad film last year.
Okay.
So I have no idea.
He got brought in with the merger of oh shit, what was the other company? But yeah, that was in like the mid to late 70s, and he was never this white nationalist.
I
character.
know we've come really, really far, and the things I've been seeing on Twitter lately and all these other things, I'm sorry, it's just I had to say something. It's just driving me nuts. That is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Back it up.
I'm here to bring out candy. I'm glad to be back on the dump.
Yeah, man, it's been a while.
I could go into this entire diatribe of how Scott seemed to kind of ignore me when I've said multiple times that I am open for Saturdays again.
Yeah.
You're not. With this excuse, then he comes with this excuse of, I gotta have. It's like I gotta keep it to 6 people. It gets too crowded. Really?
Yeah,
really?
No, not even that. That's not my own. I try to keep it to 6. You're a Wednesday person. I have people for Saturday. Really? Yeah, I downgraded you. You want to hear the truth?
You downgraded me. You replaced me with.
You want to do this live? We could do this live, man.
Dare you? We'll do it live.
Okay, so I'm not special enough like J Theory or Top or Script Doctor or George to get a special invite.
Yeah.
I'm just downgraded to the B team. So
on today's episode, we learned that Scotty is racist as fuck. Until next time.
He can't take you to church because of all the Italians.
Yeah,
so,
don't no, not
yeah.
the Italians, the wasps.
Look at this. But Jane
I
Theory.
don't know what a
dropped
wasp
the-
is. That sounds really weird. You,
Did we just lose Makani and then got him back again? What's
no,
going
you
on?
just booted
It's
him.
magic.
Wow, he takes up and you kick
You
him.
just kicked me out. You just.
I did not. You're still there. You're still there. I
What
see
the-
you.
Fuck is going on here?
I'm about to kick your ass out. Why are you getting angry at me?
See, it's like, okay, we need to talk a black person in the screen. It's like, okay, we have one person already available in reserve. What about Makani? Fuck him.
Yeah.
Let's go for Jane Theory. Let's
That's
go for
exactly what I
Makani.
say too. I say that. I'm like, fuck Makani. Why would I have him on? I tried to grow his channel for like a year, having him on all the time. Why should I just have him on anymore? That's what I do because I'm that guy.
I'm
In
so
effect-
uncomfortable.
I'm just more assaulted the fact that
We learned a
you
very
decided to-
special lesson.
Do you want to
today,
do this
kids.
shit live, man? Because I could tell you're really upset. We could talk about it. We could
No,
break
I'm
it
just more
down.
upset- no, more upset
Because I try to help a lot of people out. And a lot of people get angry with me when I don't have them back on. And I'm so fucking sick and tired of it. I really am. So if you want to be upset, you could be upset. If you want to be on the show and have fun, you could be on the show and have fun. But I'm done with people giving me shit that I don't have them back on the show. I'm trying my best. I am only
Scott.
one little channel.
Scott.
Okay?
But-
You know what?
Guys, we'll just
Guys.
play. Guys,
I know
we'll
you're
play
just
it
playing.
out.
No,
I
I'm
know
not
you are.
playing anymore.
Well,
No, I'm just kidding, marketing. I love marketing, but you're bringing up some shit that shouldn't be brought up.
I'm gonna be mad at all of you. Stop it! I'm reading an article.
Scott.
Sorry,
This is
sorry,
getting
sorry.
ugly. Can we
You're doing
just...
great.
Today's
Scott,
episode,
you're
we
doing
learned
great.
it's very important to carry around dollar bills.
I love you, Mock. You know
I love
that.
you too.
Strippers.
You
don't
hurt
like
my
to
feelings
change,
just now.
kids.
Okay, can we
Till next
please...
time.
I'm trying to read.
I left Rogue because of this. Can we, I'm sorry. Masters of the Universe, let's go.
Oh, okay. In Masters of the Universe, an orphan named Adam, wait, he's orphan? Anyway, discovers he is a prince destined to be the savior of a faraway land and must quickly learn of his power and the importance of saving his true home from an evil force. Masters of the Universe is an iconic property that shaped the imaginations of an entire generation of kids with the message of becoming the best version of yourself, said Robbie Brenner, executive producer of Mattel Films. With our partners at Netflix, we look forward to showing the audiences that anything can happen in Eternia. Anything can happen, and it usually does. It's Surprise Day, according to the Mouseketeers, apparently. We are continuing to unlock this global franchise in ways that we can't wait to see Kyle battle it out with Skeletor in this epic live-action saga.
Is anybody looking forward to that?
No.
Seriously.
Not really. Like
No.
after Masters of the Universe Revelation, I really don't see anything to be excited about regarding other Masters of the Universe properties on Netflix.
Amen to that. Now, is this an actual series or a movie? I'm sorry, I missed that part.
This is the Sony live action movie.
Yeah, right. This is this is going to be in the theaters. This isn't just on Netflix. Okay. So, Tom, how long have they been
now
working
it's
on
been
this?
Downgraded to Netflix.
Oh, it has.
Yeah, this has been in development hell for like fucking 30 years.
It has, right? It's been, I mean, they've been trying. There's been a lot of people linked to this, and this is the same one, right?
Technically, yes. Like this iteration, I guess you could say you could probably trace back 5 to 10 years, probably. But I mean, like I said, they've been trying to readapt Motu to the big screen for the better part of the last 30 years. So I'll believe it when I fucking see it.
Yeah.
And Netflix, that's the thing that's funny about this. And I don't know if you guys caught Andre's video we just dropped earlier, but they don't name anybody who's involved in this from Netflix. So we're afraid that it's Ted Biaselli or however you say his name, because he's the guy that really is to blame for Revelation. Kevin Smith is just a fucking yes man. Right. He's just there to just put a name on the show and sell it. It's really this other guy that he was appeasing. And if this guy has anything to do with this show, it's going to be a shit show. The synopsis we got here sounds fucking horrid. It's not He-Man.
And we have that in the article, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's Harry Potter. It's Percy Jackson, it's She-Ra even more so than it's He-Man. I mean, and then we're going back to Earth. That was one of the big mistakes of the 87 film.
Right.
Turning it into a fish out of water comedy.
Well, it's just
they have a beautiful universe that, like a full universe, we can be in, right? Why
Look,
go to Earth?
Remember the first 5 minutes of Thor Ragnarok? That's what that's what we want. We just want a He-Man movie that looks like that. How hard is that? Not hard. It's basically just PG-13 Conan meets Star Wars.
Right.
That's all it is. Kids.
Gross.
Do you think that it could be with just like the higher ups execs not understanding that, you know, that feeling that He-Man's such an 80s property and that the modern audience wouldn't understand it when we actually know more than they do?
Wait a minute, say that again. So you think they're
As far
dumbing
as,
it
like,
down?
why they're doing
What
this
I'm thinking,
version of the
yeah,
story?
they think that the modern audience, the modern movie-going audience, or the Netflix audience is that dumb to not resonate with an 80s property like He-Man.
Well, that's just the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard.
Plain
Plain and simple. Like, nostalgia is a big thing now. It sells. So I don't see.
Right.
It should be the opposite. Like,
As far as
Right.
them avoiding the story, I think it's similar to the whole Revelation thing. It's a legal thing. It's a licensing thing. And this is another reason why I feel like Mattel, like I keep hearing about Mattel saturating the market right now with Masters of the Universe stuff. I think that some of the shit we've been hearing about the rights reverting to Universal in 2023 are true.
Yeah.
They have to get this movie done. They have to get all this stuff out there. They've been pushing it like crazy the last few years. And they got that other show out there besides Revelation. I mean, but I don't think they can use a lot of the same elements of the Filmation series because otherwise then they got to pay Universal for the rights.
Right. So this is like the that Fantastic Four movie we never saw in the 90s. Like you have to make it so you don't lose the rights type thing, or
It was
is
actually
it
pretty good?
Partially,
I like that.
yes.
Yeah, I like that show with the fantastic weirdness.
who was the guy who bought?
Made for TV film.
Oh, I thought it. Okay, my bad. I thought
Well,
it was
meant the people
it
that
was
made
meant
it
for right.
actually thought they were making a movie, but
Right.
Harvey Korman and the production company behind it made it as a rights retainer. They had never planned on releasing it.
Yeah.
But everybody who was actually making the movie thought they were going to be making a movie. And then there was some talk. This is where you probably got that from Culture was then after a bit, they were contemplating making it a pilot for a TV show.
Yeah.
And that never happened.
Because there's a documentary about this one, right?
And I watched.
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
called
it.
Doomed.
Yeah, dude.
I've seen it. I've seen the film.
Right.
I
multiple
actually
times.
talked to the director of that. I wanted to get him on Midnight's Edge, but he's a professor,
Yeah,
so he's really difficult to get a hold of.
But I loved it, man. I look, it was terrible, but it was exactly the 80s camp of terrible that we needed. Right? The late 80s, early 90s camp. I thought it was not the worst thing I've ever seen. It wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. So
It is actually the most faithful adaptation thus far of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
How sad is that? How sad is that? Like,
Dude, so sad. It breaks my
Yeah,
heart. Johnny
compared-
Storm is one of the best characters of all freaking time. One of my Marvel top 3. I love the hot-headedness. I love his chemistry with Spider-Man. I love how him and Ben Grimm are like the brothers that are always fighting. And obviously he has a sister that he loves. He's a total ladies' man, blonde hair, blue eyes. He always has the cheesy, corny jokes as well, but his fire powers. So just what a great character. And the fact that we're not going to get that as far as any MCU Fantastic Four. That's not going to happen. That's
He's going to be
too
flaming,
toxic.
all right.
Yeah, he's be flaming. But comic book Johnny Storm is too toxic for modern day MCU.
I'm Johnny Storm.
oh my god,
I'm
they're gonna-
Starman.
Yeah, they're
flame
gonna
on!
Yeah, they're gonna
What's
treat
that,
him-
Jane?
He'll be bi or non-binary.
That'll
God.
be the thing. That's gonna be the thing.
They will
the
play it
will
the
be
fuck
they
up.
them.
Yeah, they will
Definitely
play.
They will
Hey.
happily hurt that, yeah.
Yeah, they'll play him more like Cena Grace's Iceman in the comics than just an
think so?
actual Johnny
how dare
Storm.
you?
Well, let me.
How you guys are saying?
They'll
I
get
think
the
that's
guy
what it
who
sounds
played the
like.
fairy godfather mother thingy in Cinema.
You
Oh,
mean
Lord.
G-Fab? Or
Yeah.
sorry, Fab G.
Oh, and by the way, Book of Soul Assassin. Yes, we did. So yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I want to finish that movie. I want to, because the sound is the only thing that's really not done on it.
I know, but it wasn't. It isn't even that bad. It really isn't.
It just needs to finish off the soundtrack.
Right. Is that the one that has Thor in it?
No.
Okay.
This is the one where they didn't actually finish it. Like other people put in special effects and finished it, correct?
It's finished up to the point where they finished it. The version we have on YouTube,
yeah,
I believe is the version that leaked out because that documentary you're talking about, Doomed.
Yeah,
the director of the original film asked for a copy of it, and then they got another copy for that documentary, and then it just magically appeared online. That is the best quality version we have ever seen, because before this it was like third or fourth or fifth or sixth generation bootlegs,
right,
that you got at like Comic-Con and shit like that. And for years I had this really crappy VHS rip of it. But yeah, that version that's on YouTube now is basically DVD quality. It just needs the sound finished, that's all.
I gotta check that out. Okay, so
It's
Culture,
not
after you finish, why don't we read the synopsis of this awesome He-Man show movie thing, Sony made for TV movie? I don't know what it is, but can we let's check it out.
Sounds good. Let me finish here real quick. Said producers Todd Black, Jason Blumenthal, and Steve Tisch. We've always been inspired by the fanatical world of Eternia. This movie has been 14 years in the making for us and our partners, and we are so excited to tell an entirely new story for Masters of the Universe with Nee Brothers and Dave Callahan for Mattel and Netflix, and share it with a global audience. Brenner and VP Kevin McKeon will lead the project for Mattel Films. Black, Blumenthal, and Tisch being the Ricardos and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And Devon Franklin will produce. Last summer, Mattel and Netflix partnering to bring Eternia back in 2 stories. Masters of the Universe Revelation.
Horrible.
Is a continuation of the classic storyline from the 1980s.
No, it's not.
Jane, you reviewed it, right, Jane?
Huh?
You reviewed that show, didn't you?
Did I? I think I just reported on it.
You reported on it, okay.
I don't think I reviewed it because it was
there's
no way
terrible.
I could have gotten through the whole thing.
It's terrible. Anybody watch the whole series? Did anybody get through all of it?
Yeah. I did a breakdown of it in 2 minutes. That's better.
Oh, I could imagine. Sum it up in just a couple words.
Basically, after where we got left off, she goes and gets Adam, brings him back. He somehow calls upon the power without the sword, turns into caveman He-Man.
Oh.
Then Evelyn fucks the power out of Skeletor.
That's hot.
Yeah, and then Tila learns that she's supposed to be the sorceress, but it comes with a catch, and that is you can't leave Castle Grayskull or you're powerless. But she's like, that's not my truth. So she just tells her basically like, fuck you, I'm inclusive. So that's the power of Grayskull.
Are you kidding me?
No, shit, you not.
So she doesn't have to be what?
There's no sacrifice anymore. What do you mean?
Nope.
She's the greatest and the bestest ever.
She's inclusive.
She didn't identify as being oppressed, so therefore she doesn't have to be. Simple.
You remember that whole rumor that it was going to be Andra to be He-Man, and I think it was just
no, she's Man at Arms. I knew she was going to be Man at Arms. That was a given. Yeah,
ma'am,
ma'am. Ma'am, call me ma'am.
Well, it's funny because that CG made for kids Fortnite looking He-Man was actually more faithful to the original material than Masters of the Universe Revelation.
Oh, I forgot about that one. There's like that
which is
other
sad,
version, right?
Nothing like it, and from what I've heard, it's more like Power Rangers actually. But
is that an arm right there? Like the muscles of an arm, Makini?
I thought it was the head of a penis, a veiny penis.
Hey, Tom, can you get your toys out and reenact that He-Man scene again?
Well, I pretty much just did. I mean,
I know, but I want to see the full action. Like
I got the video.
But maybe you could be the exception to making a remake that's as good as the original.
Oh Lord, I don't know.
Just saying.
It's been a while since I watched
Just
it.
saying.
Just saying.
Probably better off trying to do Boba Fett, but I got no Boba figures.
Oh my God, that show is, guys, I don't understand why.
It's so bad.
It's like 4 episodes of just Tatooine, and then we go into season 3, episode 1 of The Mandalorian, I think.
Yeah.
It was definitely Morrison's best episode, that last one.
It was. It really was.
Gene, I haven't had a chance to hear your thoughts on the book of Barely Fed.
Yeah, the best episode was the one he wasn't in, and I just don't understand why they're happy about that.
Like they're taking it as a victory, right, Jane? It's like a victory.
Yeah, like people watched it, they love that episode, but it wasn't your show.
Yeah, she's right. No, you're right.
Not my Boba Fett.
Well, Nick, right? What were you about to say? Like it's true that they weren't planning on doing. They had issues on Mandalorian season 2, so that's why they stuck this in between.
This
the
was
next
shoved in between. Right? I mean, this was shoved as they need to get Mandalorian season 3 because there's also a lot of people like, oh, this show's done, Mando's done. They need to give you a reason to keep it going. That's definitely, obviously, what the episode's placed for, and it's just
Casio
sad.
keyboard wasn't ready.
Yes.
But they didn't promote it on the strength of even The Mandalorian. They promoted it on the strength of we're gonna get to see Grogu again.
That was it, and he's gonna wear chainmail.
That's all I promoted. Is Grogu again? And it shows you they can't have his character barely survive 1 episode without that baby, and it's just like, dude, are you kidding me? And trust me, I'm not one of those guys who hates Grogu. I have no ill will.
I do. I have a lot of ill will.
Well, see, I'm not blaming the character. I'm blaming the people who rely on that character. And that's where my ill will lies within, because it's showing you that they don't know how to write something without a character to add for the kids.
Right.
It's just like they're going to eventually drive people away with it. So people will get sick of it eventually. They should keep it as more of a less is more factor. Appear in 1 or 2 episodes. I could
make it special.
That. Yeah,
make it special.
Make it have
an
impact. I thought we was too, but now we know that they can't do this show without that character. They put themselves in the
Not
corner.
even that, Nick. They couldn't even make it to Mandalorian season 3 before they put Grogu back in.
Yeah.
They were so just, oh God, this show is shit, that let's throw in a Mandalorian episode 1 of season 3 and don't forget to drop Baby Yoda's name. I hate Baby Yoda.
I think a lot of
I
it
hate
was
him.
derailed with Gina being gone, right? Because I'm sure season 3 was to set up all the shit that was going to jump off into
Rangers of the New Republic
and all that stuff was probably all going to spin off from there.
4 episodes of Rangers, and then you were going to get Gina's own series.
Well, Culture, how many backdoor pilots did we have last season? 3 or 4?
37.
4, right?
Yeah.
I think 37.
No, it was 4, I think, and they were queued to do 2 more because they were going to do Gina's thing, right, Tom?
Mm-hmm.
That was the initial plan. Was like I said, I know Ahsoka and the Rangers was all supposed to hop off of Mandalorian, which is then supposed to piggyback off of Rangers into Gina's show.
Rangers, yeah.
So
and we would have gotten more of Vanth.
The guy who had Boba's
Oliphant's character.
Oliphant's character was all right. This is what bothers me. It's like they had a plan for their future going with this series. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't like it from episode 1 on. I don't like The Mandalorian. I saw what they did. I mean, if they didn't introduce Baby Yoda at the end, I probably would have been fine, but we realized it was a false bill of sale. But when you got rid of Gina Carano on just a whim because, social media backlash, when the majority of fans that watch the show might tweet a little bit, but they're not the crazies out there that are trying to get Joe Rogan off right now, But what kills me is you now have to reform your universe because she was going to be a big part of that.
She was going to dominate that universe. You had an actual strong female character, which I mean, they tried to give you in Rey, which that was a mixed bag of bologna sausage, but they gave you a strong. They gave you a strong female character in Cara Dune.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you that some of the best moments were when you saw a partnership between Mando, who was a knucklehead, as in a real life, right? Pedro Pascal, but you had him in a partnership with Gina's Cara Dune, and it worked. I mean, many times it worked, and Tom is sharing some with us, and so here it comes. Boom. Wow, that was I was gonna say Mando, when the armorer says, if you've ever taken off your helmet, you say no.
Right.
That's actually good. That's good.
Yeah. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
That's good.
I'm happy with that one.
No, you're not. Quit pandering me.
No, that's a good one.
Wow, pandering me. That sounded filthy.
Wow.
It was filthy.
It's been a while since I've been pandered.
Yeah, I love
Or
some pandering.
patronized.
Oh, no, I've been patronized.
That may be what I
That happens all
I
the
don't
time.
give a shit.
That always happens. Yeah, I don't know which word I meant.
I don't care.
And I don't care.
I just think it's dumb. I mean, at the end of the day, you're using legacy characters as a platform to promote all of your new characters
Right.
that nobody really cares about.
Nope.
Like, I would rather they work hard on trying to adapt parts of the EU than anything new that they've come up with so far. You have an endless supply of cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no need for these new characters that they want to only insert just to shit on the old characters. That's all they're doing. They're putting them in there and say, hey, listen, your character sucks, but look how much better ours is.
Right. And what were you going to finish,
Or they
Jane?
will weaken them in some way, which is what you see happening with Boba Fett. It's not just even that they're using them to sort of insert this other agenda that they have. It's that they're also eroding and degrading these characters while they do it.
Right.
It's just it makes absolutely no business sense. Why
Well,
they
that's what blows my mind, Jane. It's like the business sense of it. Like, so you brought up the EU, which is a ready universe for you. It's a ready universe that's been waiting for a couple decades. We're gonna in a couple weeks we're having Lord Callis on, and he is. Like, to me, him and OG Star Wars and Stig, those are people, like, when they talk EU, I listen. They've told me stories, like the videos I've watched of Lord Callis.
Oh my God.
Amazing. Like, I want to meet these Sith Lords. I want to go back to that.
You can take his videos and make it into a whole show.
Yeah.
I mean, every character he highlights and every little thing about them is
Awesome.
incredibly fascinating.
Right. It's a perfect way of putting it. It is fascinating. Like, he'll break down a character, and because he broke down somebody else a month ago, I know who he's talking about. Like, oh, he came up against, Master Jedi somebody in, 75,000 BBY. I don't know. I suck at Star Wars stuff. But it's just like, he can literally, I think those guys can write a better script than what we've gotten from Disney. I don't know. I really do. And he's just telling you the history of the EU. It's crazy.
It makes no sense.
Well, not just EU, but characters that have existed in the video games in not just EU, other forms of media. Like, he even went to characters that existed just in Jedi Fallen Order.
Right. He kind of like melds them together, doesn't he, Macklyn?
Yep. The Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic, every single bit of media, including sequel trilogy.
Right.
But they're at the same time. I mean, and this is the thing we don't get to dive into. But they're using leveraging these established characters to promote their bologna sausage in everything else.
Hey, highlight 913. I'm sorry, Rogue Disney, because I thought that too.
Working on it.
He says, "Is Omega the armorer?" She's badass.
You mean Brianna of Tarth?
No, I thought it was Xena.
I always felt like Omega was going to be the reveal in the last episode.
No.
So the reveal of what? Like a new character or this character? Because I thought after I started watching that, I only watched a couple of episodes of that clone show. What was that one? The Bad Batch. The Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch.
Right. And I thought that right away. I'm like, okay, if that's his sister and they're bringing in all these different characters, who would she be? And that's one I thought of. They're gonna bring her in at some point. She's going to become live action.
I just thought they would meet. I didn't think that would be the arc. That's interesting though.
Right? It would actually. I hate the character, but
In the timeline?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she would be. Yeah, because if she was that young in the Clone Wars,
okay,
she would be in her 40s, 30s, late 30s, 40s, right?
Mm-hmm. Personality-wise, though, I don't know if she would be an armor type.
Hi, Jay.
Well, it could change, you know?
The fucking drunk 3PO appears.
Drunk 3PO, who will be on, I believe, the show in 2 weeks on a Saturday. He booked it. Cool. He can't take it back now.
He's good people.
Take it back.
He can't take it back. And then Lord Callis is the last Dark Council member I need. We have, in the month of February, I'm trying to get them all. I'm trying to get them all. So it's, I know we have Abu Nas is on a Monday night.
So in other words, you are treating the Dark Council as Pokemon. You have to get them all,
like a match. I don't know. I've never played Pokemon. I was in college having sex with girls.
Okay.
I mean, if you're gonna lie, don't make it so extravagant.
Okay, I didn't have sex, but I definitely touched myself in college and not Pokemon.
Hey,
jerk off station and all.
Okay, so some of those Pokemon cards kind of got me hard. What?
Pikachu, I might Pokemon.
Hey, stop. If your Pokemon cards get stuck together.
I don't want to talk about that. God, you guys have been attacking me.
Oh my goodness!
Just kidding.
What is
once.
This turned into?
It was about just once. It was frightening. Anyways, do we have any more of that article?
I killed it. I was boring as flip.
Did we even get the synopsis?
There is no synopsis in it. They gave it to us. They said this is going to suck rocks. Enjoy. This is She-Ra's, basically, the outline of She-Ra's character. That's what.
Well, actually, the funny thing about that, you say that because I remember Clownfish TV was talking about the whole She-Ra. They're going to do a live action adaptation, and it's going to be nothing like the Netflix She-Ra that they were having for 5 seasons. So the She-Ra stands, the She-Ries are really angry about that.
Wow.
It's like continuous because they've been wanting like a live action version of the Netflix She-Ra fit cartoon. I was like, yeah, that's probably not going to happen because
they ruined
that
She-Ra.
didn't sell toys.
They absolutely ruined her, and to this day, that is one of my higher performing videos I did on that. In the hate, I mean, the new She-Ra fan base is insane.
They were incredibly disrespectful.
It's a whole different level.
Well, Jane, explain that because that was, I remember, like, people attacked you. I remember you talking about that, right?
They were so mad. I'm just like,
well, that was the thing because it was with the Netflix She-Ra, it was a lot more focused on the Tumblr crowd, focused on creating ships and all the thing because you had Noelle Stevenson helming that show. And it was that way. In fact, even you say toxic is like exactly because if you've been following Clownfish TV, because they've been after Geeky Sparkles for years over that. They've also they've been incredibly disrespectful to every single one of the original creators of the original She-Ra.
Wow.
Incredibly disrespectful.
What do you mean? How were they?
So, in some ways, I think one of the original voice actors passed away, and they didn't even acknowledge that character. One of the voice actors for Bo completely trashed on the original Bo's character, despite the fact that they made the Bo in She-Ra, in my opinion, a little bitch.
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah, more than that. It was just continuous on and on. It was just
the
like
original character.
They wanted to replace the original they want the original She-Ra completely erased and replaced with this new She-Ra.
Wow.
And if you to this day, if you post something featuring the original cat or the original cartoons, they will flip out.
Why? I don't understand why though.
It's because they race swapped or gender neutralized every character.
And
Gotcha.
They did a lot of changes to many of the original Kit casts. So
Oh,
Don't forget
toxic
the
man.
Bozzy positive one that changes shape constantly too.
I think that was Glimmer. I think I can remember that.
What?
No, that was double.
They don't know how to keep on.
Yeah, they made some
fucking
characters
model.
like Double Trouble into like a gender neutral, non-conforming, non-binary.
Oh, Well, no, there's this one girl who's like chubbier, and
Yeah,
they can't
I think
stay
it was
on
Glimmer or
model.
something like that.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
can't stay on model. Like constantly,
Mhm.
she's getting fatter and skinnier and fatter and skinnier all the time.
Yeah,
and getting
in the fan
warts
base,
everywhere.
So that's like an eating disorder, and I don't like it. Toxic Man Flu for $10. I just want to say I don't care about any of the topics you are talking about. I really appreciate how Disney has sucked all the enjoyment of their IPs, both original and purchase. Hashtag Duck Fizney. It's sad that we've gotten to that point. I remember Gary was on once, and we were talking about Star Wars, and I was like, dude, I don't feel it anymore. Like, I don't have any love. He's like, isn't it suck when you get there? Like, and it really does. Like, yes, people bust my balls in Jane's too. That we want the books from George. Like, we still have, we are going to get them. We still have faith because we love that. Shut up. We love that world. We love that world, you know? But they've taken the joy of any really everything leads to Rey, and
it all roads lead to the Last Jedi. All roads lead to trash can Rose Tico. It all
because
leads
they won't
to that.
pivot. They won't pivot. They could.
They refuse to pivot.
They could go back. You know, just pretend it never happened. I would be
Well,
okay with
and
that.
not only that, and I said this on Fat Steven stream the other day, that this is like this is kind of that thing. It's like the thing with with Lord of the Rings, that you can't touch the third age. I see that as similar situation where George Lucas stated you really can't make any indirect changes to what's happened in the original trilogy. Way I see this is that they're making changes around it, and it's going to lead to a point where they're just waiting for Lucas to unfortunately pass away so that they can completely reboot the original trilogy and wipe it from memory.
I could see that, and I could see my opinion. Right, here's the thing with all the trilogy and all that stuff. That like you could have easily, in a perfect world, I mean, best case scenario. Because let's be real, they were never going to ever announce that they were wipe out the sequel trilogy. They could have secretly just not acknowledged it. Sometimes that happens in movies or shows, and just not talked about it and not alluded to it and just not bring it up. Kind of like, okay, it didn't happen. We're not going to say it, but we're just not going to bring it up and just kind of go an alternate route. Right. But no, they just had to let you know, like, they don't care about this property at all. Like, and the personnel involved is, dude, it's tragic. And I can't get angry at this stuff anymore. And I haven't been. Dude, like, my girlfriend has watched the show entirely, and she actually finished watching for her first time ever Breaking Bad. Now imagine going from Breaking Bad and then going straight into this. How much worse does the show seem coming from Breaking Bad to this? It's one thing when you're watching it if it's own merits and you're thinking, oh, this is not good. But when you go from a show that's actually stuck the landing with Breaking Bad to this, it's got to feel like a freaking F minus. Like, it's got to be tragic to watch this. And she's not one to ever turn shit off, like, ever. Even if it's not good, she'll finish it. Not this time.
I live with a normie, dude. I also do, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's it.
Who's in the chat?
Yeah, she's in the chat.
Hi, Culture Boss.
Yeah,
Boss.
And
Culture Boss.
She's like, who's Pokemon? Right? She loves Nintendo, but she has no interest in Pokemon. She's like, what the F is that? So it's just like, it's just
Also, real quick, shout out to Damaj and I.
Oh, for sure.
Gotta get Damaj and I Wednesday. They're filling up, but if you have like a Wednesday, oh no, you can't. So like
He's
later in.
You all.
I always forget though. Dark Council. I'm trying to collect you all, but not the 19th. The Saturday after the 19th. If you want to come on, please come on.
I need to get Jane on my show. Jane, how come you haven't been on my Sunday show?
Wow. We're all putting people on the spot live on Sporking News Podcast.
Also, Demogeni, Tifa is the national hero for Italy.
Yes, Tifa is. We're going to get to that because that involves our man Lethal. Hopefully, Lethal can drop in. But we have our token Australian with us tonight, right here, with the cool glasses. Check that man out.
I don't like being called a token.
Well, and one other thing I want to bring up is that Nick, you brought up that it's like an F minus. I see it more as Disney is purposefully failing the test and repeating the grade, repeating high school multiple times.
Of course. And here's the thing: they're never to get rid of the sequel trilogy. You would have to get rid of the first female lead. You had to get rid of the idea of a guy who turned on a stormtrooper as being black. And let's not forget, it was something I didn't notice until after I saw The Last Jedi. My younger brother pointed out to me, he's like, did you notice how all the heroes in the Resistance were all diverse people and all the villains on the First Order and the Knights of Ren were all white? And you would have to get rid of those elements. You would have to get rid of all those demographics that they're all hugely committed to. Right now, it's all about the demographics, all about optics, and nothing about merit.
But they would though. They could do a focused project without tying him to the trilogy.
Yes, you're right. They could, but they won't.
With The Last Jedi, and that was the first one. When I first watched The Last Jedi, I noticed it immediately when you looked into when you have those wide panic shots showing the Resistance, showing everybody on the ship. You notice that it was mostly women and POC characters, but you never see any of other alien race. It was of such a rare occurrence. And the same thing when you look at the other side, when you look at the First Order, I know there's some undertones to that, but that's one of the very things I picked up when I first watched Last Jedi.
Entirely.
I missed it too. And I was I didn't even notice that. Like my brother brought that up, and I'm like,
I'm getting dizzy here.
I know. Let's go back to just this. I can't do it as good as Culture. And my computer's lagging. My lights are flickering. Blizzards suck. And yes, Christy, I don't know how I got 2K. It just happened. It just happened.
I'm getting close to 3K, kids.
Hey.
Woo! More on that.
That is awesome.
Nice.
Meanwhile, Jane Theory got to 3K by basically losing her hair over Naomi. Ain't that right, Jane?
I've been meaning to ask you about that show. What do you feel about Naomi? Because I've watched it. I'm indifferent.
The CW
pretty much.
Naomi?
I mean, it's not
CW Naomi.
It's not. It's just badly written.
The actress, I like her.
Yeah, she's fine. I mean, it's not. It's usually not the actors that are the problem. It's the writing. And they just don't know where to go with her. I mean, like one of the things I highlighted recently from the last episode was one of her struggles is supposed to be learning her powers.
Right. And she pretty much figured
out. She's supposed to get training. She's like, I need training. And then in the very next scene where she's using her power, she uses them perfectly to open a lock, which is hard to do without powers.
Right. Also in the cave.
Powers again later on.
Yeah.
Perfectly in a cave where everything should have collapsed when she shook the structure.
George, Jane, what's her power? I'm just curious because I don't know anything about the show.
That hasn't even been explained.
We don't. Yeah, I don't even know. It's like wind, nature, lightning. I have no clue. She's like.
It's supposed to be like a black carbon copy.
She has all Superman. They've already stated that she's going to have similar powers by the end of the series.
But she's like controlling the atmosphere around her or something like that. Yeah. Like there's like a tornado around her of stuff, and then she just goes bloop. And
she masters it though. Like in every instance where she has to use it, she masters it.
So it's a great scenario. We got
so it's another Ray.
To even the idea of being an alien.
So it's another
Mary Jedi.
So it's another Mary Sue, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's Ray. It's basically Ray again.
Okay.
Right. So she's great at school. Her parents love her.
Everybody loves her.
She is all the Jedi.
Yeah, like Jane, that's a valid point. Everybody's in love with her. Guys, girls, everybody.
Everything.
Everybody.
Nick, you said something.
Kryptonites.
I was asking, does she have like the biggest comic collection ever? She's the big like historical.
No,
know-it-all?
she is a super. Okay, so in her world, no one knows. Spoilers for Naomi.
Yeah.
No one knows that Superman is real, and she does like a Superman fan site. They all believe he's like a comic book character. Happens that he comes to her town, like, and everyone thinks it's like a stage thing, and slowly she learns that these things are real, and she is not human, I guess, and blah blah. It's not good, but for some reason I'm watching it because I want to see where
See, that's the
where
thing
it
about
goes with it.
It's not that desire to sort of see where it goes.
Mhm.
I think is a little bit of what's good about the comic, because the comic was very short run, but it's actually really good until they couldn't figure out where to go with it.
Right.
And you see the same thing happening with the show. It's like, what direction are you taking the character? And everything seems so empty and pointless,
Right.
and directionless. I
So-
don't see how it's going to last for another season unless it turns into
Plot
a Black
device.
Woman thing.
So Jane Theory. So
Wow.
basically, it's the same situation that we're having with Miles Morales, who is another character that is the creation of Bendis.
Basically, yeah. Yeah.
So
Wow.
Jane, do
The
you
only
agree?
good thing with her so far is that they haven't really pushed the race thing so much. They did have her in the episode before last mention that in some of her past schools,
Right,
she
only
was the
black.
only black girl.
Yep.
But other than that, they haven't really made her stereotypical, which is good. But I'm interested to see where they're going with it. It's not like it doesn't have potential. It's just I don't know. It's like they.
I'm with
wrote
you,
it?
Jane.
What
this
wrote
I
didn't
think
it?
that's
exist.
the biggest strength of the series is there's a lot of potential, and because they haven't gone heavy-handed with all the work politics and everything like that, each episode has something in it that you go, I didn't mind that. That wasn't too
Right.
bad. But I
Right.
think the problem is they're right on the knife's edge, and all it's going to take is one really bad episode, and everyone who was like me that's on the fence is just gonna.
Well, you know what? Let me compare it to the 4400. I really enjoyed the first time the 4400, the original series came out. I thought it was an interesting idea. I liked how these people just all appeared and slowly people started realizing they had powers. This new 4400, which I just tried to give a chance to, was it's literally mostly about race.
They remade the 4400.
Oh yeah, dude, it's terrible. I'm sorry, it's terrible. It's all about race, and it's all about even like the cops of today. Now it's Detroit. I don't know how Detroit cops are, but like they're like, you can't play music, or you got like, they're just stereotypical terrible white cops. And I get that you could play into that a little bit. I thought the idea of having more diverse people come back was a good idea, but when the majority of it is focused on race, like, this isn't what the show was about originally, and I kind of want to know where they're going with it, but I can't get by it.
Well, see, that's
So
the
is
problem.
this
Anytime they
somebody
do
you-
diversity, they have to remind you. It's not just casting somebody who's a different color. They didn't have to tell you they're a different color
Right.
and then show you using stereotypes and stereotypical situations. For sure, they're a different color. It's
Right.
just
Is this so
and then
bad it's
count
good
their
to
audience
watch?
is basically as if they're dumb. Like, we just can't figure it out.
Right. Which one, George?
Yeah, the Naomi.
I am enjoying it. I am enjoying watching. I'm not enjoying it. Let me get that wrong. Like, I'm waiting.
Right, but
Because
is it
I
one
like-
of those things that addicts you because it's bad, or it's actually
but
it's made you curious.
It's made me curious because I like the actors. Go
Okay,
ahead.
but Here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to bring this up because it's important.
Is it?
So, I'm dizzy as hell.
Thank you. Yeah, let's stop doing that jump thing.
Okay, so here we go. So there's your ratings, right? Superman and Lois. That's the best lead in the CW.
And it's a very good show. I
Yes, it
really
is.
like that show.
Which I would say they're using the lead in of Superman and Lois to get
Yes.
people into Naomi.
Oh,
But
definitely.
If you
But
look,
they should have used the writers.
Yes.
Yes,
Look
the
to
writers.
write Naomi.
Well, it's completely different companies, though. That's the whole point.
Yeah, well, no, I mean it's all Berlanti crap, right? So
Well, yeah, it is Greg Berlanti.
but it's like, okay, so you have 904,000 people that are looking at the 8 o'clock, the 8 o'clock Superman and Lois, and that leads into 589,000. in the 9 o'clock hour for Naomi, right? The rest of the slate, like the 4,400 that Scott was talking about, that rocks like 350,000 people.
Really?
Yeah.
I started watching a new show yesterday called The Mayor of Kingston. That's a great show.
That's a great show, dude. Mark's S 47. I did not know that yet because I've only watched like 2-3 episodes. You just blew my freaking mind. How? What? 1920s doctor?
What?
You just the 4400, the new one now. They just took it to the next level. So a black trans doctor from 1920s came to the future. Like,
okay,
that's very rare.
Are we talking like a race swap Anne Boleyn scenario going on here?
I don't know, but all I know is the 4400 OG show. If you can find it, I'm so sad that they kind of lost their way in that last season, and then they just canceled it because it was a really cool premise and it started off awesome.
4 seasons from memory.
Yeah,
it was on Netflix, I think, if I'm not wrong. But we've got this. This is the DC's Legends of Tomorrow at 573,000. Batwoman at 470. It ticked up 477,000. So congratulations to
Batwoman. I can't get past a single episode.
Yeah, it's on the road.
I can't do it.
Did she take off her top or something?
Leave it to Az and ETEP
ETEP is doing a great job.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to say it this way: scissoring cells, kids. Scissoring cells. So.
Right. I was just wondering if somebody took off their top because that would be the only reason for an uptick. You know?
I'm just like you look at this. And I was like, I was watching
don't run
ETEP's
with
review.
scissors and don't scissor with the runs.
I was watching ETEP's
Not a single
review.
person in Gotham is straight.
Right. I was watching ETEP's review last night. I'm like, you have 2 poison ivies here who look decent. I'm like, we just get them to just go at it already.
That right. Yeah.
That would make it more interesting.
You know what's gonna happen anyway.
No, Mary's the only straight character on there. We gotta have at least one representation.
And the only good character on there, right? But here, this is even better. This is going to show you the CW in its purest form. This is where we're rocking the 8 o'clock hour of Legends of the Hidden Temple for 240.
What the hell is that?
Don't care.
Never heard
Isn't
of
that based on the old Nickelodeon show?
I think so. And then,
that's
and
the
then
old
look
Nickelodeon
at
show.
this, whatever this
Well, Culture, tell me how you read this. Legends of the Hidden Temple. How I see 214. Is that 1,000?
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousand? Okay.
Yeah. Approximately, yeah. And then you have you have these other 2 shows that come on after. I have no idea what these are. But look at those numbers. Aren't they fun?
Yeah, it's sad. Now the number you read for Superman and Lois, was that decent for a CW like a show? Because
that's the best show they have right now, dude. That is rocking the box. And then look, okay, so we scroll up. You don't have to go that far up. Look at the playoff game. Right.
Oh, that's insane.
The AFC playoff game, 42 million people were rocking that thing.
Yeah, you can't compare that though.
No, but that's my point. It's like you have. Hey, let's look at CBS, which has
the Rookie.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, you look at these numbers, right? You have 6 million, 4.9 million. These are good numbers, right? The rookie's rocking 2.8.
NCIS.
America's Funniest Home Videos is still around.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy though, guys? It's like the majority
video is still around, just not the host.
Well, they're
going to do a Bob Saget tribute.
Uncomfortable.
What was weird? What's crazy about that, and I blame it on MTV from the 90s and into the early 2000s, is the majority of that stuff is not sitcoms. It's not TV shows. It's mostly game shows, some type of like celebrity thing, some type of reality like. That's what people still want. Like that, I thought that was going to burn itself out at some point, and it is not.
You still got
go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, Tom. What were you going to say?
Well, yeah, go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
TV's dead. The only reason people have TV anymore is because of fucking sports, as you just saw. Like nothing, nobody, like even some of the bigger shows, like nobody is watching anymore because everybody's moved over to streaming.
Yeah.
And it's so hard, Tom, to like follow which ones, because you now have to have every single streaming service. Like you just said, George, the mayor of Kingstown is awesome, but how many people know where to find it? Like unless it starts getting bigger and bigger, it's It's
also nobody
maddening.
But see, that's why some people aren't
anymore.
streaming it. They're just
And
doing
that's
a search for their
right.
favorite episodes somewhere else.
Nobody wants
Say
to
that
wait.
again, Jane. Hold on. Say that one more time, Jane.
Some people aren't doing that. They're not hopping from streaming service to streaming service. They're just searching their favorite alternative platform for the shows of choice.
Right.
Jane brings up a good point. Some
Yeah.
people are
People
also
don't wanna
Well, Nick, guys, hold on. Let's George go and then Nick. Yeah.
People don't want to wait anymore. That's the other thing that's killing TV. No one wants to go week to week. That's it. They're done. They've gotten cooked with streaming and they're used to it. They want to binge. You know, when I see Mayor of Kingston, I go, okay, I'm in an episode. I like it. Episode 2, good. I like it. 3, okay. I want to see the whole thing. I don't want to sit here and go, let me wait till next Saturday. Yeah. And then no.
I disagree.
Well, I don't know. I like appointment television, but it's the binge and
has to be
is
good.
what's dominating right now. Yeah, go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry, man.
No, you're good. So we got a few interesting things. So yes, TV is basically dead, but however, I work in Chicago, and the only reason I hear people holding onto TV is obvious: sports. It's sports, and that's the only thing that's keeping, like, or I won't say the only, but let's just say it's a big factor in what's keeping network TV alive. And then trust me, I've heard these people say, I can't give up my sports, my sports. And for me, I've been checked out of sports for a long time for obvious reasons in the world. I want to like it, but I'm beyond through with it. But we got these streaming networks that are all competing for each other's attention. There's people who are very good, more than we think, who are they'll watch a show on Netflix and then they'll be done with it. And then like, oh, hey, Paramount's got a show. I guess I'll drop $7 or $8, be done with it and move on. Like Amazon's obviously holding on to people. Obviously, Amazon's holding on to people.
But it's because
they provide more services.
It's true. Yeah. Netflix does that because they're leveraged, Nick. They leverage that against their shipping. And again, it's thrown in as a bonus. Amazon Prime is a bonus to what you're doing. And it also is a vehicle for them to sell other channels, right? Because they offer other streaming channels that way. That's a vehicle to do that. But I think Scott needs to read a super chat here real quick.
Yes, I do. And I just, before we read the super chat, George, I understand what you're saying about binge and episodic, like going week to week.
Yeah.
But the only reason I like the people that do like the release 3 so I can get into it.
Amazon method.
Yeah.
And if it's good, then I want it to become something special that I'm like, okay, after this show, I can go get online, and talk to people. Like, I hope House of the Dragon is a week to week and it's good.
Right, but those are separate things. If you weren't running a YouTube channel, would you want to watch the whole thing at the same time?
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. I do. I do. But then, aren't you like when you like one day you're done with a season? You're like, ah.
Yeah, you are. You do get that feeling, and that's. And I think that's why there's better content coming out more and more, because that's exactly what happened. You'd get one great show, everyone would binge it, and then you're like, damn, that's it. It's over. So yes. I do miss a little bit of that old style episodic weekly. Like right now, I'm watching 1883. I can't wait till the next episode.
Right, and
now, part of me would enjoy to be able to watch the whole thing at the same time. But again, you do have that sweet thing. But I think most people have. That's why I was speaking for most people.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think most people have gotten into that routine. They go to work, they get home, and the only thing they want to do is they want to veg out. And when they want to veg, they want to treat it in some ways like a book. We all used to read. You get a great book and you'd read it all the way through.
Yeah.
Now you want to watch the show all the way through.
Oh,
when you
really
start
good way
going
to put it.
When you start going, okay, it's this week and next week. How many? I really like to know what the numbers are. How many people they lose today compared to how many people they used to lose? People who would be patient from week to week. How do you know someone doesn't jump onto another show now?
But wait. No, 2 seconds, Mock, and then I'll let you go, man. But I'm sorry. I just wanted to speak to that because it's this weird place that we're in. Yeah. There is still appointment television out there. I'm sorry. I mean, it's premium television, right? It's what we used to expect from HBO, which is now downshifting to CW content. Don't get me started on that. This is a conversation Tom and I have been having regularly. But you had Game of Thrones, and before that you had True Blood and 6 Feet Under. And I mean, I can go through like a hand. I agree.
And Sopranos.
Yeah, it used to be good.
No, and that's the thing. You can still do that, right? You are offering a premium service. These streaming services are not being treated that way. They're being treated like we have to give you all this content, just like Netflix. Netflix bought all their shit. Netflix used to buy all these other companies' stuff so they could stream it. And that was a source of revenue. Now they're like, well, we need to get on this bandwagon and we're going to earn this revenue, which they're starting to find out doesn't pan out the way they thought it would.
Right.
And the consolidation. Go ahead.
Is it not panning out because of the structure, or is it not panning out because of the content?
Content, I think.
Yeah, both. Both things. Both. It's not one or the other, I think, Jane. I think it's both.
I think if you have great content structure, it won't matter, at least in my opinion. I think it won't matter as much if you have great content. Did we really care before about structure when we had Game of Thrones? Though I will say there is something different. I loved Game of Thrones, but in those last 2 seasons, going almost 2 years till you get to it, I was about, if it's not released in this summer,
and then what we got was garbage.
And see,
son of a bitch.
I think Game of Thrones also put a bitter taste in people's mouths. They're just not willing. I'm not talking about people who love television, who love cinematography, who love filmmaking, who love great story. I'm talking about the average person, how they act. The ones that I've met are bingers. They're like crazy bingers.
Right.
But what didn't help?
Well, let's let Machini
have
a sec.
I did that, and then you moved him again.
I know. We're fighting it.
I guess my question is, and my question to George and Culture, and it's something I might be noticing, is that with all the streaming services, everybody jumping on the bandwagon, everything is becoming the exact reason why we left cable in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's becoming cable now.
It's worse than cable. You have to have 75 different streaming services to get what you got to have Apple TV to watch that Sudeikis show. You got to have Hulu for something. Like, it's ridiculous that we've gotten to this part where now you're starting to see like YouTube TV, even like you said, Prime Video, like Amazon. They're making it so that you can get everything all in one. When will that crush the others and then be like cable? But let me read this real quick. Okay. And then Jane. Mr. Grant Gregory for $5 Australian. Musical chairs with the guests is making me car sick on my computer. Yeah, that's true. Jane.
No, I was just going to say, you
Thanks, buddy.
Still have your cafeteria plans. You can choose what you want to watch. And for me, at least, it's still less expensive than I was paying for cable.
True.
What's interesting, though, is at some point, people are going to wean themselves off of all of it. Because even right now, with the exception of very specific shows, most of my time is spent watching YouTube, Twitch.
Same.
Regular people who picked up a microphone.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into Twitch, but YouTube, I agree. I watch YouTube.
No, you guys, and this is the truth. I mean, Jane speaks the truth here, but here's the weirdest part. I think we're headed towards an a la carte menu, like Jane's talking about, and I think Tom agrees with me. We've talked about it many times. That, in fact, I'm trying to drag him over to. I'm on the wrong window, but I think Tom and I've talked many times about this, where there's going to be an a la carte menu of shows and not necessarily streaming services in the future. Tom.
Yeah, that's probably likely. I mean, Amazon's already kind of doing that, right? Like they have. A lot of and HBO was on there, and then they jumped off. So like, you'll have like all these smaller ones that just can't quite cut it on their own. They'll go what one survive will go on to the Amazon, which already most of them are make their deals through there. They'll barely survive, and then you'll have HBO Max, Netflix, Disney Plus, pretty much otherwise. I don't see any of the other ones really surviving outside of Amazon.
Don't you think, Tom, that we're going to get to a point though where because there's so much content that the next level of competition is going to be going back to the old bone? Who has the best content?
That'll be a big part of it.
Yeah,
I mean, once TV finally dies off, which it will happen in the next 10, 15 years. I mean, we'll still have it, but it won't be like it is now. I mean, it'll be. Once sports moves over to streaming,
it's done
exclusively. Then it's like over. Yeah, exactly.
But they can't. See, this is the networks can't let go. I don't think. Tom, do you think they're going to be able to let go of the live?
Well, the networks are already kind of setting themselves up, right? Comcast is NBC. That's Peacock. Paramount Plus is CBS, ABC is Disney Plus.
Yeah, and Tom, don't you think when it comes to look,
Fox
I
is
know.
now-
Well, the sports mega deals, I get that, but don't you think if Apple TV takes off, they can't drop billions on
Apple
the
TV is a
NFL?
sleeping giant.
Yes.
It is.
Never would count them out, and that's why I hadn't really kind of mentioned them yet, because it'll be interesting to see. But no, like here's the thing: is a lot of these companies launched their streaming services before they had anything fucking ready for them.
Yep.
That was the big problem. In the next couple of years, now we're going to start getting a glut of a lot of the new stuff here. And we'll get to really kind of gauge how well each of these guys are going to be able to do this. Disney kind of got some of their stuff out already. We've seen how they kind of treat their stuff on Disney Plus. It's really low level shit.
But
to me, it reminds me of the shit they used to do back in the day with their straight to video sequels and shit.
and
Real quick, culture. I'm sorry. We've been holding over 70 people now for a while.
Thanks for
So
being here.
thank you guys for being here. The chat is on fire. Yes, I know George R. Martin was a consultant on Beauty and the Beast, Time Prophet, and he's rewatching that. That's another thing. People can go back to old shows now and rewatch those because I do agree. Someone had in their anime. I love binging anime because I just got into it in the past few years.
Yeah, we know what kind of anime you
Or
like
months.
binging. Yeah.
Okay, well, occasionally. But
that Fuda stuff that Nick Rekieta likes, huh?
Well, speaking of the Disney straight to video sequels, that's another problem though, is we enjoy certain classic things, but now a lot of these streaming services have just turned them into content. Like Disney Plus basically took all the movies that were in the Disney vault and meant something and turned them into content.
Yeah.
Jane, what do you think about this one? Because you were talking, because I agree with you. I watch a lot of YouTube. I mean, look at how many people watch a Crowder live stream, or even look at Gary. I mean,
I
it's
think
crazy.
A lot of people do because there's so much content. I mean, we focus on entertainment stuff, but you have drama channels, you have makeup channels, you have
YouTube's
fashion
finally
channels.
embraced that they're just the
people
free
find
ones.
what they find entertaining, and that's the key. It's not so much that they need to watch a television show or a scripted series.
Right.
Some people just watch YouTube for just to laugh. Just see what's happening now. They get their news from YouTube.
I can attest to that 100% because
Just
I basically cut off cable, cut off TV altogether back in late 2015, and where I was just so used to just watching and getting everything I know from YouTube and everything, and not from the mainstream media, not from TV, just because it was more authentic, it was more entertaining, and you get so much more out of it.
Right.
And 7 years later, I haven't turned on the TV since. I just turn on my watch later and just watch you guys the whole day.
We all do that. We all do that. I swear to God, I don't engage with anything unless it's like the butt crack early in the morning. I'm trying to wake up, or it's the middle of the night. I'm trying to go to sleep. The only reason I've seen the Book of Bland Fett is because it was something I tried to wake up to in the morning. And here's the problem with Bland Fett. It's hard to wake up to that show. So the first time it woke me up was this last episode, which had nothing to do with Barely Fett.
Right.
So I'm just it's this weird problem that we have with the content that is provided by Jane knows this. It's provided by the people that I want to listen to. I like to listen to Jane read things. I could listen to Jane read things all day.
But culture, the only problem is if Jane reads the wrong thing, YouTube can just take her off.
Right.
And that's what scares me. That's what scares me, because there are amazing content creators out there that aren't saying anything I disagree with, and they could easily be gone tomorrow. Whereas, I mean, we all know who I'm talking about.
Exactly.
But even, you do.
Is this a segue?
To go back to that.
It was a
point,
segue. Thank you.
You have
Go
a
ahead.
lot of people who will prefer to watch summaries or breakdowns or other people's takes on some of these shows than the shows themselves.
Exactly.
That's a big thing now too.
Yeah, and then you have people like Lethal Lightning who's dropping truth bombs that nobody is prepared for. So
And the worst part with Lethal's was he had one bogus strike on his channel, and then he was just discussing the hypocrisy of what you could, what certain people could do and say to other, and content creators can say, but another group of content creators can't defend and say back. It is weird that like someone, I'm going to just say it, whatever. I have no strikes at you all hear this, but like someone like Frost can attack people and call them sexist and say all these things. And then someone like Lethal talk about the hypocrisy and they dynamite his channel.
Right, but that's because she works for Comcast, Scott.
She works for Comcast G4 Media. It's owned by NBC Universal.
I get that. It goes deeper than that too.
It's a bias. It's a double standard.
You have biased media. Today, it's no longer, I mean, I even think it's gone deeper than conservative and leftist. I think it's biased media and unbiased media, and which side you're on.
And the thing is, George, we even before Lethal, we had this huge report of I forgot what his name was, but he was a conservative channel with over 2 million subs, just completely terminated.
Oh,
just because of medical and misinformation.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And also that term medical misinformation is so broad. They don't pinpoint. They don't define it. They also you had to you'll relay information that their authoritative sources say and use. But because you said the word, it's like I swear it's like at times they have like an AI where only Fauci can say these words, and then any person that's not Fauci, like, banned. Like, it's just really weird.
One at a time, we'll go. Yeah, Jane, then George.
Okay. They leave themselves a lot of wiggle rooms just so they can have that level of control.
Oh, of course, it's done with
their platform. So you'll never be able to get a clear definition about what you're supposed to do or what you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to know what the rules are. And that way they can get rid of you and have no justification whatsoever.
Yeah, George, what do you think?
What I was going to say was when you start seeing people like Evangeline Lilly start to come out and start talking, even though she's, for me, mostly left of center, but it's good for her that she's standing up. When you see people like her starting to say, hey, I'm not going to go along with this, I think within a few months, maybe a year, that you will be able to get back to saying, you'll be able to name whatever you want. I mean, in certain parameters, then there'll be another word you won't be able to use.
Yeah, well, it's the people to say things now that would never have said the same thing 6 months to a year ago.
Right.
It's a very interesting just kind of like dichotomy and everything that's going on. And you I forgot who was it who just said that, like, people like, Fauci and stuff, they can say that, and when someone like Lethal says that, they get terminated or get yeeted off the platform. I think about someone like Eric July, Young Rippa, who can say the same thing, able to back it up. And when YouTube even thinks about trying to yeet him or put a channel strike, he'll make a big noise about it.
He makes a fuss.
Yeah, but it's different. Look at Crowder. How many they got strikes and they pulled it? What did they do? They suspended him for a week and then a month.
They suspended him. It started
with a huge channel.
He's been demonetized twice, and he's been remonetized once or twice as well. And Steven Crowder will be up and down. He also has Half Asian Bill as well on his side.
Bill Richmond, Half
Asian. Bill must. I like saying the name. It's just I love Crowder and his names for his guys. So it's good that he's got Richmond.
You know what the thing is?
I don't know if they're using lawyers behind the scenes though too, because that will play a huge part in whether
that could be the same thing concerning like somebody like Jeremy of the Quartering, who they can't do the same. YouTube can't pull that same stunt with him because he has connections within YouTube, essentially like the bigger channels, such like that.
Well, he also uses Bill Richards.
He uses Bill Richmond as well.
Richmond, excuse me.
And my thing, and here's my thing with Steven Crowder is that they're not willing as much as YouTube. It wants to take his channel down. They want to terminate him.
I believe they do. Yes.
However, my suspicion is they can't, because they know that if he's one of the bigger channels, that if the moment he moves over to another platform and starts promoting it, he's going to take an entire base with him.
It's not just that though. You gave us a parameter of rules, and you guys aren't playing by those rules.
No.
He is willing to go the distance in court to fight them, unlike some of us smaller channels that couldn't do that.
Afford to do that, right? And
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why they knock out. This is one of the reasons why they knock out smaller channels as they're growing, like Lethal, for example, because they don't want somebody to get that kind of power, to have that kind of leverage, where if they do some shenanigans, people will get in trouble. I mean, look, I did a video on Friday, which is one of the most viewed like regular videos I've done in a while, that talks about the data behind the removal of the public dislike count, right? Yeah. And they did that for a specific reason. Everything that we thought they did it for was confirmed with that data. They are protecting their corporate content creators. They don't care two shits about the little folks.
Right. And all that with K's from here on out, so we can trademark it.
And here's the thing, Culture. I don't bring this up because you and Scott brought up a good point, is that, not looking out for the little guy, not looking out for the smaller channels. When we had channels who actually were representing the little guy,
right?
Big guys like Ethan Klein of H3H3, who did a complete 180, is now just becoming their little bitch puppet now. You know what I mean?
I don't even know who you're talking about, but go for it.
Ethan Klein, if you don't remember, H3H3 Productions, ran his own podcast. He had to fight with. He was known for a very huge lawsuit during YouTube where he had to fight for fair use. Won that as well, and that was representing a lot of the smaller channels. But because he's become so big and he's become so much part of this corporate entity that is YouTube, and joining with the likes of guys like Hassan Piker, guys like those guys who are just joining in whatever trends that's going on at the moment. And he's lost his way. A lot of those big channels lose their way when you kind of see them as kind of someone who represents the smaller channels trying to grow up and trying to build up and trying to work within this ever-changing ecosphere and rules that YouTube continues to give.
And I'm glad you put that there, and we're going to read some super chats in a second, but I like how you said that, because that's a valid point. Crowder points that out. A channel that, like a video he does or a stream that got knocked off, they took down, or a video they struck 6 months ago is now okay because they've changed the views, because the CDC changed their view. Because the information was still correct back then, and you show all, okay, I'm referencing this. Yeah, all the proof. It doesn't matter to them. You guys are right when you say, look, for me, medical misinformation is a tough one, because if a doctor, someone who is a doctor to me is an expert, tells me something, I should be able to report that from, this person giving me the information. Just because that doctor doesn't agree with the almighty Fauci doesn't mean they're wrong. The whole idea of science is to like someone gives a hypothesis and then you try to prove that it's wrong. Right. And by that you may prove it's right. But by not proving it wrong, you confirm it. Yeah. So it just blows my mind that we lost that.
Though. I mean, it's everything. They want to control the narrative, period. Whether it concerns healthcare, whether it concerns the environment, whether it concerns trade, it doesn't matter. Entertainment, comics, gender,
politics, period.
All of it. It's like they have their own very specific, very narrow narrative. And anything outside of it at all, anything that threatens to shake it in the least has to be removed.
Right. And speaking of which, Scott's going to hit this super chat from Ruben, I think, now.
Well, we got $5. I'll read the Ruben one, and then I'll read the 5 from Marby Dog.
Oh, yeah.
So, Ruben Christopher Haynes, he is a channel member and still pumping out $50, dude. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate that, my man. During these dark times, the world has gone insane. The world has gone insane. We become more isolated. We ventured into the net. Then and now we discovered that we are brothers and sisters in fellowship for our individual freedoms. We now lead the charge with our voices. I agree with him wholeheartedly. Yes, we want to make people laugh. Yes, we want to have fun. But the truth of the matter is, I don't want to be oppressed. I don't care who you are. They should not try to silence you on an open platform that gets taxed like an open platform. You are not a publisher.
Why do you and Ruben look like your brothers?
And you know what
I don't want to talk about it. He's dad had.
You know what the interesting thing is that another channel that I didn't really think about was John Talks, who has resort to just posting clips, but it's clips of different countries, different things that are different countries, different areas that are taking a stand against this mandates and stuff. And it's like, this is the kind of content that would get his channel yeeted, but he's finding that workaround,
right?
Yeah.
Notice how they would be against everything else that had the word "man" in it until it was mandates.
Yeah, like those two Tom.
Good point.
The minute the word "man" is portrayed in a bad light, no, you gotta keep it. You gotta keep that man there.
Thank you, Ruben.
I think
Thank you, Ruben.
I think the word.
Have George, and then we'll read the next one.
No, you go ahead. You go.
Okay, sorry, George. Marby Dog for $5, and then Terminus, I think, had another one. YouTube is the living embodiment of Andy Warhol's prediction that everyone in the future will be famous for 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
That's what everybody wants, which is kind of scary.
I think it's the opposite.
I disagree. I don't think that's what's happening. I mean, I think you have some people, and that's what they want, right? They want to be famous. But for the most part, what you're seeing is entertainment has failed us. The corporations, the studios have failed us. And people are coming together. They're finding ways to communicate. They're finding people who share the same likes and dislikes that they do. And they're having conversations and they're having fun again.
Yes.
And it just so happens that the only input the corporations have is just its platforms. And they put ads in front of us occasionally.
Right.
But other than that, it's just fun. And if people are finding alternative means of making money on here also, well, so be it. But
Jane, you're an example. To be honest with you, you do great entertainment. People can watch your streams. You do great stuff on your channel.
Your Saturday morning stream is one of my favorites.
And you're brilliant. Yeah, your Saturday is amazing. And it's just it's this place where we can converse, right?
Yeah.
It is a weird level of interaction. Like the chat's on fire tonight, right? And we can acknowledge everything they're saying and bounce off of it, and it's a conversation, and these voices get together, and it's why we ended up here, because we were not alone. We didn't like something in entertainment, and we all came together.
Can I say one more thing?
To seeing people in a second, buddy. And you get to know everybody. I mean, it's just add the meetups to all of that, and you have community again.
It is a community where you don't even know your neighbors anymore, but now you know people on YouTube better than that. I want to give Mr. Grant Gregory a chance to speak, because I know he was trying to say something, and then right to you, Makani.
No, I was just saying that the Warhol thing, I think people mistake that as people chasing fame. I think it's fame is in shame. The left is definitely using everyone will have their 15 minutes of shame.
No.
That's I always took that message as a warning, where you're going to be famous for 15 minutes, and it's not going to be a choice.
For a good reason.
You're going to be the flavor of the month. Everyone's going to hate you for a moment, and then it's going to move on. It's essentially a rite of passage when it comes to doing anything in the public eye. I mean, that's all I was going to say on that.
You could be right, Grant. I think it's more along those lines, or it means something along the lines like he was probably, if he didn't mean that, he meant more like the shit like the Kardashians. Right, like we were gonna
people who were famous,
like people were just gonna be famous for no good reason. Exactly.
Right.
Well, that we have that
and
all
then
the time.
ultimately, no one's famous. It's ultimately no one's famous at that point. If you're just
when
gonna make
everyone's
everyone
special,
like that.
no one's special. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Because
exactly the society we live in.
Well,
it makes me
go.
think of two things specifically. When you said going for that 15 minutes of fame, and I heard that, George. Thank you.
That sounded like it sounded like Fauci when he got the hot mic. That was awesome. All right, go ahead.
No, it's the
people
back
say
and forth.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the drawing. When you
drawing is new. The back and forth is giving me a
No, I want to go back to this. Just guys, remember, let somebody finish and then we'll jump. I know it's hard because we all want to jump in, but I have no control. So just try to work with each other.
I'll spring this in two ways. So you brought up the 15 minutes of fame. I see that within YouTube, but I think the bigger offense of getting that 15 minutes of fame for the wrong reasons, and especially making a bad influence on the wrong crowd, and especially influencing the wrong crowd, is TikTok. I see that more apparent with TikTok more than ever than I do with YouTube. But YouTube and Twitter, they are not free of that as well. And the second thing I want to bring up was that, you see like more and more, people are standing together, people are pushing back at this. And the thing I brought with John Talks was that he will show a lot of this videos of like, different countries rebelling against mandates. And then we'll see instances where you have something like, something is what's going on big right now is all the truckers in Canada are rebelling against the mandates. And what's happening? GoFundMe is pulling their funding.
Yeah, of course. They all work together, right, George?
Yeah,
absolutely. No, I think it's that's why I liked that they were giving so much support, and especially that Lily was giving so much support. And Macklyn, I love all your work, especially me. As we talked about before, big breast. That's my thing. So
no.
By the way, wait a minute. I want to acknowledge the fact that dude down there. Well, wait.
Oh, hey, that's Jerry Garcia.
That looks like my dad.
Lord.
Oh my God, your dad's Jerry Garcia?
Brad, did you know you were Culture's dad? Culture, did you know that you're related to?
Apparently so, except that I didn't know.
That means he also has some dingoes for you. So
well, all I know it's Culture Garcia now. I like it.
Garcia, I like that.
Go ahead, Jane.
One point though.
Yeah, please do.
This idea that people always throw out there, oh well, these people are famous for no reason, they're not doing anything. When I look at or watch Twitch, for example, no one on there is actually doing anything. Sometimes they're just playing the violin or playing the piano. Sometimes they're playing a game. Sometimes they're just chatting. But what it does, it provides escape for me. It's entertainment for me. They weren't doing anything revolutionary.
Right.
They're basically living their lives.
And that's the thing, they don't need
fun in some way because it's not, it's. I don't know. For me, it's entertaining. And
well,
maybe
Jane,
they are famous for no reason, but it's a reason enough that it makes me joyful.
What draws you to it? I'm curious because I haven't gotten into the Twitch thing yet. Literally, well, what is it that attracts you to it more than, let's say, on a day where you go, I'd rather watch Twitch than YouTube?
It's the individuals. It's some of the people on there who I follow who are just fun to watch.
Okay.
Either they're humorous, like they're comedic, or they're really talented at whatever it is they're doing in the moment, even if it's just playing Fortnite. They're fun to watch. They're fun to listen to.
Even if
I would rather spend an hour doing that than watching CBS.
Yeah, but honestly, Jane, if they're really bad at Fortnite, that's also entertaining. That's me.
Exactly.
That's me.
Exactly. And Jane, and what I meant was that in regards to TikTok is that I'm seeing it like Twitter where you have people who are making these hot takes, saying all these things just to get noticed and getting that, 15 minutes of fame, not realizing that they're spreading the wrong information, and that because TikTok has become such a bigger platform than YouTube, and you have a lot of young people on TikTok, they're giving them the wrong information.
But here's the thing, with TikTok, just like with all these other platforms, you can choose to hide specific types of content and creators, and the ones you interact with are the ones you'll see more of.
Right.
So for me, I see more of the dancing TikTok. I see more of the comedic TikTok. I'm now watching a lot of cleaning TikTok for some reason.
I like the woods cooking, the cooking over campfires.
They have pets. I don't know if y'all know this, but people have trained dogs and cats to use buttons to talk.
Oh, I've seen those guys.
Are you kidding?
No, it's interesting, man. I'm a big deal over on TikTok, so I know these things.
Really?
Yeah, big deal. No big deal.
Saying it, but I kept looking for it, couldn't find it.
You got to look a little harder.
It's just I have my own personal biases toward TikTok, and
it is the CCP. Real quick, guys, Glinser for $5 says this stream has violated the YouTube community guidelines established January 29th, 2020. Guidelines subject to change January 30th, 2022 or 2022 was both. I fucked that up. Sorry.
Oh my God.
But that is
you're big on TikTok.
I got like 7,000 followers almost. Hey. Whatever. No big wookie. I mean, that's like 100 here. It's fine. I talk mostly politics over there. Oh. I'm that guy that gives the misinformation. I'm waiting for Culture to get back because I want to talk about, but we can start talking about it. We started touching on it actually. Is Evangeline Lilly the biggest name that has stood up against the man? Because I know. Well, let me
Probably Shuri.
Let me throw this out. Yeah, against mandates. I mean, you have Sherry and her are
Robert F.
both
Kennedy
part
too.
of big
Well,
franchises.
there's been bigger people than that. I would say.
But who's
Eric Clapton, Meatloaf?
No, I'm talking people that are
nobody knows
actually
Today,
Yeah, that-
he's talking about stars today. That
Okay,
people
so-
ever really know.
Let me put it this way: somebody who could actually lose
job,
a major like situation, like Gina Carano was big. She was in a Star Wars series, though. These people are in the MCU mega
I only know
train.
of them because of this shit, though. That's the problem.
Right.
People who get blacklisted, they're still early in their career and they could basically.
Yeah,
lose
that's
their
what I'm
career.
trying to say, Jane. Exactly.
Right. You've had people, but I think she would be the biggest one. I did some research on it before putting a video out 3 hours ago just about it.
Yeah, make sure we share that.
Yeah, well, I did. No, but I looked for it to find, and I couldn't find anyone besides Clapton, and just like Tom said, and Meatloaf. You had some a year ago who started to speak out, but
then they backpedal. But like
immediately, but look at Evangeline Lilly. She did the same thing, and which is why I said I hope that this time she stands strong, because before she had her dad who had cancer, right, and she didn't want to self-quarantine. She wanted to help him. So she had to put this Instagram post out where she said, I'm not going to quarantine. I'm going to be there to help him. I'm not going to leave. And as soon as she started getting pressure from everyone, she backpedaled and apologized. This time it looks like she's not doing that, because last time it was within 24 hours. So
right, she's kept it up. Jane, but you said also the girl from Black Panther, Letitia Wright's been getting a lot of hate for like over a year.
And she literally just asked a question. Like, she didn't even assert anything in particular as a point of view.
That's crazy.
If I understand, she said she didn't want to jab for the set. She didn't want to take a jab for the set. Is that right, Jane?
I don't remember saying that. Or
no,
that
she didn't say anything wrong.
She was just questioning it.
Right.
I
think that's why I think. Yeah, go ahead.
I would argue another big figure, although Jane will probably be debatable for me. I'll be debatable on that. Is Nicki Minaj?
Oh well, yeah.
Simply questioning.
She said the same thing.
Yeah, remember the whole thing that said that like a relative who was married to her cousin, the COVID gave him decreased his manhood.
People went after her, man.
Yeah, people went after her, including the White House.
The White House went after her, saying you're giving misinformation to your 200 million followers.
She stuck to her guns, though, George.
Stuck to her guns.
It's Nicki Minaj, though. She's going to stick to whatever.
Well, and I say relevant because right, and I say relevant because Nicki Minaj is someone with that big of an influence, with that big of a following.
But her following is so narrow, though.
True.
That's the only thing. She's not mainstream. That's all.
She's not mainstream.
You don't think she's mainstream with the followers that she has now? Okay.
Mainstream.
Okay.
Not at all. Because I mean, a lot of the people who support her because she spoke out trashed her right before she said anything.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I find amazing is how these people are buddy one day. It literally reminds me of the Trump syndrome.
Good night, buddy. Yes.
Well, right before he ran, everybody under
Loved
the
him.
sun were his friends. All of Hollywood, New York. I mean, he was in movies. The moment he comes down the escalator, like devil.
Well, you could have.
You've been friends with him since the '60s, but now he's a racist.
Right, exactly. All of a sudden,
he stood with Rosa Parks to get the Medal of Freedom. I mean, the pictures online.
He's homophobic, dude. The guy's been around models his whole life. He's not homophobic, dude.
It makes no sense.
He has done some really amazing things without telling people. That what they didn't like is he decided which way he felt this country should go, and they didn't agree with it. Kind of like take the Harry Potter author,
Rowling.
J.K. Rowling, because she stuck to her guns on her feelings that she's all good with transgenders. She just doesn't feel like they should compete and take away opportunities from biological girls and women. Well, now you have colleges, and if you can share that culture,
I was about to say that.
University of Shits. I don't even know where it is.
Shitsville. It's Shitsville. Yeah, because they're putting warnings
somewhere. But yeah, they were just like they're putting trigger warnings and warnings over the Philosopher's Stone, the first book.
Yeah, the very
it talks about stuff that they feel are uncomfortable with. And
but what is it?
I don't know.
Someone explain to me how the Philosopher's Stones in culture. Don't you have it set up, or is it the other one?
Oh, this one.
But I mean,
yeah.
they've written her out of her own book, basically. They have
Oh, not this
now
one.
surrounding her
No.
books without her.
Yeah, they tried to write her out at the HBO Max special as well.
Right.
That didn't
Hold on,
work.
I got it.
Simu
I'll share it.
10-fingered short stroke. Of course,
Because
she's gonna
these
do it, but these
motherfuckers are
yesterday's news.
so fucking sensitive that it's got to just be because she wrote it.
You know what I think?
That's it.
Gotta be it.
I want to
Yeah,
say
they,
that.
they don't even call her
George,
anything anymore.
yeah, George, and then
I really want to
Mr.
say
Grant.
because it's driving
There
me
it is.
crazy. I think a lot of these people, I really believe a lot of these people could care less about any cause.
absolutely.
I've been talking because you know that I'm putting together that book, the Boba Fett movie. So I've been talking to a lot of people, and in talking to those people in California and in the entertainment industry, I started encountering some who had what I thought would be, certain radical, hardened political positions. When I started explaining what I was doing, they're like, I don't care about politics. What are your politics? This. Oh, cool. I actually agreed with that. What I think is that most of these people, they have one primary concern. That is, they view more than oxygen, they view notoriety, fame, and than anything else. And if today it means being on the left will give them the most attention by pissing off the right or getting more attention on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or Twitch, whatever the hell it's called, they're going to do it. If tomorrow it's popular to be on the right and not on the left, you're going to watch that same crowd go to the right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's because it's considered the public view. It's supposed to be considered the center of opinion. It's supposed to be the this is the gospel of opinions. This is the one that you should have. And
But
because they don't want to be caught being on the outs, because these type of people, they care about how people see them. So they think, oh no, I don't want people to think I'm one of the outsiders. For me, I've always been an outsider, so this is just business.
But
as
it doesn't.
usual.
It still doesn't explain why they take the positions they take.
Yes,
You
Jane.
can be on the left and support things that are traditionally, I guess, leftist,
followers.
but that makes sense.
Right.
Instead, they're doing this thing here, where with the quote you just posted. There is clearly a strategic and organized effort to change how we perceive gender.
Yes.
No,
They didn't have to do that.
Whoa.
Every
Hold up.
single form
Let her
of
finish, and then Tom.
entertainment. For us to see that in every single form of entertainment, every time we turn around,
Yep.
that's not a coincidence.
No,
Right.
that's because you have a
Not a
radical
hill
group.
they have to die on.
Right, that's
Tom.
'cause you have a radical group within it.
But it's
Look,
but
it's
it's
just a
bigger
bunch
than
of
that.
perverts who want to talk about sex with kids. Look at that
But-
fucking.
Thank you,
headline.
sir.
But it's bigger than that, guys.
It is.
Identitarians are at the heart of every fascist or communist or authoritarian center. They always have been, right? You identify people by their immutables or whatever, and then you will isolate them and call them your enemy. And this is what happened. And this is the thing I can't believe about the ADL and many of these other groups, including the ACLU. They are
ADL's
not
hate group.
going.
Sorry.
100%. No, it's fine. But they're not going 100% after this kind of rhetoric
Because they've been taken over.
Yeah, it's essentially they have been.
They've been
But
co-opted.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are essentially isolated. And I hate doing this kind of shit because I'm tired of the politics, but we can't get away from it.
Yeah.
So, and I live in that world. So it's just, it's when you look at these things, that's what's happening. And the fact that, we've had multiple examples throughout history that have, essentially, given you the outline for what's exactly happening right now, and people can't see it for what it is. It's incredibly frustrating for somebody who's paying attention. You can call it a culture war. That's great. And, and maybe it's, kind of the right description of it. But this has happened multiple times. You don't have to go back 100 years to the Chinese Culture Revolution.
The left described it. The radicals describe it as a culture war. They openly do. They don't hide from it. It's not a right term anymore.
The main point when it comes to this, the fact of the matter is they picked J.K. Rowling for two reasons. One, because she had a view that they didn't agree with, previously been agreeable. But she's written her stories being the most influential book series of the 21st century. What other stories have done it? If they can do that to the most popular, the most influential book of the 21st century, then nothing is safe. They hit the big target straight away, and then everything else falls in line.
That's why she didn't bend, but that's why she didn't bend. You see her. I think that's part of it. She's protecting her legacy.
Yeah. That's the key factor of it, because if this can succeed, and then they can start doing it to that, every single other piece of literature, every single other piece of media can do it. Because if you can topple the giant, then everyone that's underneath them is afraid to step forward.
And that's why the Lord of the Rings, Mr. Grant Gregory, is the next domino to fall. Let me tell you, that's why this show is going to suck left nutsack.
Well, this is why I said they were putting all these warning labels on anything. First, you put a warning label on it. Then you said anybody who likes said thing with warning label on it is bad. You take away said thing with warning label on it and make it contraband. And then basically anybody who has said thing is now a criminal.
That's crazy.
And you guys say, there might be some people who are like, oh, you're insane. No, that shit has happened in the past, kids.
Let me tell you, this has happened all throughout history. We've gone through periods, because we brought this up about the trans thing and how J.K. Rowling took a stand. She did take a stand, but this has happened since the time of ancient Greece and ancient Rome. The cultures go through periods of androgyny where they start to blend the sexes. And when it breaks out, it's because men and women start pulling apart because they become miserable during this time period. And then they eventually say, we've had enough of this, and it goes away.
And then you go back to conservatism.
Then you go back to a puritanical kind of conservatism, and it swings back.
But could someone just explain to me what in the frig in the Philosopher's Stone leads to some difficult conversations about gender, race, sexuality, class, and identity?
What could?
What?
I haven't read this, but what could is gender normity or cisgenderhood being treated as if it's normal.
Explain it. Dumb it down to someone like me.
Men and women acting in traditionally masculine and feminine ways.
Right.
If you don't have diversity within that context, or if that's what you present and that's the only thing you present in your world, some people are offended by that and see it as anti-trans or anti-whatever.
No, it's not. It's actually heteronormative. It is what essentially every single society has been based on since time immemorial, right? And trying to break that down and destroy it is a lot of people consider that, including the author here, J.K. Rowling, unnatural.
It is genocidal. It's an anathema. I mean, animals don't do that.
You see the results of it when you look at Western society in particular, and you see birth rates dropping.
Oh my God! Japan, look at even the Japanese have this similar problem for different reasons, but it's happening everywhere. Because it is. But that's why I think it's going to swing back, and I think it's going to happen sooner than people think. Sometimes I believe, like I have friends who are like, look at the midterms. You're going to see one group, the Republicans are going to wipe out the Democrats. I said, sometimes, you know what? Because people know I'm a Republican. But I was like, sometimes I wish we'd almost lose so it could get crazier. Because I think the crazier you get, more people wake up. Instead of just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem with that approach. And this is the problem I have with putting our hopes or faith or whatever in politics and politicians. They play people against one another. They do perfectly.
You're right.
And they do it in such a way that they do flip back and forth.
Yeah.
In terms of power, they flip back and forth in terms of power, but they don't lose their jobs in Congress.
No.
And nothing actually changes that's beneficial to the people. Why are we still arguing over an infrastructure bill?
I know. You're right, Jane.
But it's not actual, George, it's not actual infrastructure. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Well, you know that, and I know that, but most people don't know that.
No, because
a bunch of fugazi. That's why.
The point is,
because they sat there for years and they realized that we started figuring out that it's not a fucking race thing.
Right.
It's not a fucking sex thing.
Right.
It's a fucking class thing.
It is.
And they realized that, when we say we're going after the man, we mean government. We mean corporate America. We mean any motherfucker who has a means to make any money off us by keeping us down or trying to separate us.
Absolutely.
And so what they did is they thought, let's be smart. We can fucking distract these little bitches, and we'll take the man and put white in front of it. No. So just some of y'all are going to have to take one for the team.
And male and straight.
They do. Come on.
But then it expanded beyond that to manhood in general.
Man of
Right.
fatherhood.
Well, that was just
Right.
Fatherhood,
Exactly.
family,
It's
traditional
Because if they
family.
because if they break that, what they did is they broke the nation by keeping people divided, and now they're trying to break
exactly
the family, the core unit completely.
the
They're
core
gonna go,
nuclear family.
okay,
the core
we're gonna
nuclear
snip
everything.
the last strings that are holding people together. We can do whatever the fuck we want to do.
Right,
Mhm.
and I am okay. So Neon Conference TV says it's like it's gonna swing. That's why I don't believe that. Like, okay, you want to talk about this whole red wave during the midterm elections? Is it gonna make things any better?
No, it
No,
won't in the
is it
long
gonna
term.
swing over? It's like
It's a Band-Aid.
I as naive as I say it, I believe that the pendulum needs to swing back down to the center.
Right?
Yeah, well,
But it's
that would
never
be-
going to do that
But it's
because
never
you
gonna
have-
happen.
The people don't change. Like they have us fighting. People actually pick sides over the
Tribalism.
president.
And I
Exactly.
know
But
that's the
Congress,
problem, but that's
The
the problem.
people
We treat it
actually
too
have
much
the
like
power to
sports.
make the laws, who control actual policy in the country, don't change.
George just said it perfectly because I was going to bring this point up. When I was younger, I used to get crazy when the Patriots lost, and I would get so mad. And then, somebody said to me, he's like, dude, the minute they're done, watch them. They're all smiling. They're ready to go out. They're going to party. They're getting paid. Why are you getting so upset? The same is with politics. Yeah. These guys will talk mad shit on one another. They've been friends for 50 years.
It's crazy.
It's a game.
You know, when
Exactly.
you see them yelling in the
Exactly.
Senate, and then 5 minutes later, they got their arm around it. My buddy and I were playing. I'm like, you just fucking said this guy kills mothers and children and he wants to eat you alive.
They don't
Dude,
understand.
when I
Okay.
saw that picture
Hold
of
on.
the Clintons and the Bushes together,
Believe me, that blew my head.
back,
You know what this
a
reminds
black and
me of?
white photo or something. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, that's when you
I
wake
thought
You know what
up.
this
hated
reminds
each
me of?
other.
No. You know what this reminds me of? The very thing that Jeremy at G&G said that when Frost was opening her mouth. This is the kind of thing where you cannot handle a Modern Warfare 2 lobby. You wouldn't be able to last. Most of the people here wouldn't be able to even last a second in an old school Modern Warfare 2 lobby, even an old school game lobby where people talk trash to each other.
Oh my God,
One thing you
talk
forget to
trash.
understand is that when people
mock. Most of the people in our circle, our sphere,
I
the people
know
in our
that culture. What
they
I'm
can
saying
handle it.
is most of the generation Gen Z, a lot of these people, a lot of people who are just sensitive, oversensitive stuff, you couldn't last a second in
Well,
that.
that's
kind
why
of
they tripped over
atmosphere.
Trump, right?
And here's the thing.
Yes.
And here's the fucking thing about this. Like, you are so ignorant and so just not willing to understand the fact that we talk trash and we could still be friends behind that.
Right.
I can shit talk Scott or Coach.
Yeah, we just told each other off. We're fine.
Exactly. We could do this the entire stream, and yet at the very end of the stream, we'll hug it out at the very
Right.
end because
Hug
we know
it out.
that's my
History
brother. That's
repeating
the
itself.
side of
The
fight for.
problem-
That's
the
somebody
problem-
I look after.
This
The
is just
problem
history
isn't-
repeating
But
itself.
here's
Sorry,
the thing,
Jay,
the
go
problem
ahead.
isn't that they're friends. I'm cool with them being friends. These people have been in office for longer
Right.
than some of us have been alive.
Yes.
I know they're friends. I know they go to the same country club and the same this, that, and the other. The problem is that they pretend not to be.
That's
Right.
it.
Like
They
it's
don't-
WWF
they
Raw.
don't
Using the
family
word.
fighting
2
each other.
seconds. 2
Yeah.
seconds, Jane. Just because we're all tiptoeing around this. The word you're looking for is kabuki. And that's all it is. It is a kabuki theater. That's
Yes.
all we're dealing with. Political
Oh, I thought you were
theater.
talking about something else that I saw in the video.
You're back to the anime crap.
No.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead, Culture. I was just joking.
I'm not talking about bukkake. Scott.
Oh, that's what okay.
No, it's
Kabuki.
Okay.
That's what you're dealing
Culture
with.
went there.
Yeah, because he won't say the words. I will say the words, and we're in this weird place, right? And it's where they want you to not trust your eyes. The minute the government doesn't want you to trust your eyes, they're lying to you. Well, wait a minute, they've been lying to us for 40 years.
Right.
Longer than that,
They
my
are
friend.
lying.
Well, why do you
to
think they were so
Longer
afraid
than
of
I've been
Trump?
alive.
A lot of people.
This
supported
goes
him.
back to Nixon, and then this
Yeah.
goes back to JFK. This is repeated history, kids. We've seen it all before. Just replace the 80s with the 50s.
Yep.
Put the 90s basically are the same as the 60s. What happened in the 60s? You had a complete culture shock, right?
Yep.
Exactly like they're trying to recreate now. The problem is we've already done this, kids. We've been
We've
there.
seen this movie.
This is the sequel.
But the thing is, someone
actually
said,
the prequel.
someone mentioned them being afraid of Trump. They weren't afraid of him when they were friends with him.
They're
No,
best
they weren't.
buddies.
I know that's the thing.
because
I
they
think
wanted
that's
to
why-
You can't have a
I think-
situation where
Yeah,
in
that shocked her.
2015 y'all are besties, hanging
Right.
out at
Because
your
Exactly.
home.
Trump was a Democrat at the time. He was a
still is.
lifelong. He still is by what he does. But I'm talking about by the
He's in
label.
no way
He
really
ran as a
pro-Republican.
Republican. I know. I agree.
But he
You're
ran
right.
as one.
But he ran because
Exactly.
he ran,
ran
as
against it.
Well,
Republican.
you know what?
They didn't like that because he was the
It has nothing-
they had a status quo they wanted to maintain, and Donald Trump went against that status quo that they want to maintain. That's why Hillary Clinton was
I
supposed
don't think
to
you're right.
win
I
in
don't think
2016.
they were ever afraid of him, though. I think what you
They
saw
weren't
was
afraid
them-
because they didn't take
were
him
leveraging-
seriously.
No,
I
they
think
were
you're touching on
leveraging him
something, but you
in order
missed it.
to get more votes. because
George,
they
you're going to
could
wrap
use
it up for us.
fake
Jane,
anger
finish. Yep.
in order to help divide people. And you saw the same thing happening in reverse. These people don't care. They weren't afraid of him. They weren't afraid of each other.
Exactly.
They play off of each other. And yet we don't see it. But if you notice, remember when Trump decided that he was going to do something about social media and big tech, right?
Yes.
He was
He
not
didn't
going
do
to pass
shit.
the defense bill. He was going to veto it, in fact,
Mhm.
unless they did something. So what did they do? They voted unanimously in veto-proof majorities to ensure that there was nothing he could do.
Right.
So at the end of the day, they used Trump to turn Americans against each other and to get votes and all of that to raise money. But they were never going to let him interfere with the thing they actually care about.
Damn, Jane, that was good. All right, and George, finish it off.
I think Nick was on to something, but he just touched on it. I don't think they gave a damn that he was a prior Democrat who went with the Republicans. I think the reason that he had enemies on both sides because you have one party. You have the Uniparty, and he wasn't in the boys' club. He was an outsider who came in and goes, I want to do things differently, which is why Republicans and Democrats hated him. That's how they were able to constantly, come on, you're telling me that you have people like Russell Brand who have just woken up after all these years saying like, look, the whole Russia thing was bullshit. I just discovered it. I did a research. He said, now this is bullshit. You don't think the media, you don't think the Republicans in the party knew? Of course they knew.
Of course.
They wanted to stop him. That's why as soon as he won, the first midterms they had, 45 Republicans said, we're retiring.
Yes.
Because they don't want to do his shit. They're like, we're out of here.
Well,
Because
just
he's
look.
not
Republicans are
establishment. He's not
wusses.
establishment. He like you said, he was the one they expected, like all the other Hollywood people, to
Right.
just continue to fund them.
Right.
He was in their circle, but sort of on the outside part of it, where he was giving them money, and that's all he funded. The Clinton campaign that came up, he had given money to Hillary and all of this. That's what he was supposed to do. You stay on the fringe. You get to hang out with us.
You get
Stay
your
in your
perks.
lane.
You get your perks and go away.
You get your perks. We get your
Stay on-
money.
stay in your
and
lane.
Everything's good. We continue to control things. When he won,
Mhm.
that shocked the heck out of the party. They didn't know what to do,
Right.
but to basically at some point decide they have to go along with it to a
They had to
point.
look.
And
Yeah, they
that
had to
point
look
was
like.
when he actually threatened what they actually care about, and that's
Yep.
It's
foreign
easy.
policy and whatever it is. they're
Loss
doing
of
with our
power.
money that's being funneled into
Exactly.
the defense. But
Look at
It's
the
easy to
president
get
of
ourselves out of
Mexico.
this.
Go, Tom. Tom, we're going to finish it up because I really got to wrap it up.
Well,
So,
it's
Tom,
really
last.
easy to get ourselves out of this. We just need to start turning their own logic against them.
Right.
No means no.
Yep.
You want to stick something in my body, you got to get consent first, motherfucker. All right. So just start using their logic against them. Start acting like children if we have to. Fuck it.
Love
That's
it.
what they're doing. Even Bill Maher's starting to wake up. The woke are starting to wake the fuck up. You've even got people on the right who are like, yeah, well, Bill's right. It's like, well, yeah, well, it's just because he's got common fucking sense, which the left doesn't have anymore.
Yep.
And that's why guys like Trump got into office, because he was a guy who was basically the antithesis of what woke culture was, right?
Mhm.
He's no different than Nixon or a lot of these other guys that came before. They're all the same in the end. The only difference is that Trump wasn't a career politician, but yeah, he liked money. Guess what?
Right.
No fucking news flash there. So you're right, Jane. His as far as it was only going to go, as far as he was going to be able to take this thing, and money talks and bullshit walks. And at the end of the day, we're not going to be able to get anybody in office who's going to have our interest at heart, unless it's somebody who is truly somebody who actually gives a shit I put one name in the private chat. I'm not going to say out loud because I don't like getting into fucking politics.
Right.
But it's at this point, nobody's going to change anything unless we do something. Right. And we need to start standing up and saying, no, you work for us, motherfuckers. It's time for you to start acting like it. And we are the boss, not you.
Congressional elections matter.
That's the show, people.
They won't go out.
That is the show. That is the
agree on one
Nobody
thing?
agrees. No, go ahead. But that's the show.
Yeah, that's the show. Can we agree?
That's the show.
Can we unanimously agree on one thing?
What?
That racism.
Those are nice moves.
No, well, that too.
Yeah,
But racism ended in the 90s when a rapper named Earl Simmons went on stage at Woodstock and got at least 1 million white people to chant the N-word.
Okay, well,
at least agree on that.
DMX in
That's a hot
99.
take.
Yeah,
That is a hot take.
that clip, Mock. That clip is hilarious. That crowd of pasty white people.
Yeah,
and DMX was
all of the
like, I
shit.
need you to say
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And they said it like
He
it was
ended
going on
racism right there.
I just remind everybody
All
that
right.
these same fuckers that are trying to change things now and are all fucking woke are the same individuals who tried to keep down the voice of young black men from the inner cities back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Amen,
Oh, yeah.
sir.
Oh,
Amen.
absolutely.
And we're going to finish on Ruben Christopher Haynes for $5. Thank you for being a channel member. And thank you for everybody being here tonight. We had a great, we held 70 for a while. That's one of our better shows. So thank you guys. You guys are the lifeblood of the show. He says, correct. It is all a show and you are the pawns for the global elite. Yeah. We are in the Squid Game. We need to stop playing. God bless you, man. You know who I know isn't in the Squid Game? People who support me. So support everybody on the panel. Thank you guys for coming. And we'll see you Monday with Abu Nas. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great week. Are we going to see this picture again?
What picture?
The picture of you in the Wonder Woman outfit.
Oh, wait.
I think that's something we all can unanimously agree on, right?
You want to touch him?
I think you need to get Macklyn to draw you up something different.
I know, right?
Okay, make me Diesel Wonder Woman.
Why is it glitching?
Because that's my old computer.
Hey, how do I have two names?
Good night, everybody, because you...